Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shubhra ma'am, please check your voice.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly fine. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. Huh? Thank you.
Sure.
So good afternoon, all of you.
Good
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, I welcome you all in this date, that is batch 2 of our ongoing training session sponsored by National Commission of Women. Today, we are having a session by our training and placement in charge, Shubhra Bhatia ma'am. Shubhra ma'am is an MBA and is working as an assistant professor at Department of Commerce at BSS College. She's also heading the training and placement cell in our college. And today she'll share her views on employability skills that are required for a good placement in a job market. So I now call upon Shubhra ma'am for her session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Ashish sir, for the introduction. A very good afternoon to all my dear students. Most of you must be knowing me, especially the final year students. Now, I'm really very glad to be a part of this session and taking a session for my students in this NCW sponsored program. The main reason is that the focus of this session is solely on improving the employability skills of our girls, of the female students that we have in the college. So although I'm interested in the overall development of all our students, but being a female, girls are a bit more closer to my heart. I hope you all would understand. So please allow me to share my screen. Just give me a second. Students, is my screen visible to all?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And before starting off session, I would like to remind all the participants to please mute yourself. If you have any queries, you'll be given a time to ask the queries with ma'am, okay? So in between, kindly please switch off your audio. Thank you.
All right. So students, the topic given to me today is employability skills. And I think these 1.5 hours are pretty less because I need to cover employability skills. I have to cover the interview skills and some basics about your resume as well for a fresher. So let me start without wasting any time. So let me tell you about myself. I've been into training and placement for more than a decade now, and this is my 14th year into this profile. And the profile which I'm handling, it needs continuous interaction with the employers and the students. And off and on, I get to hear a statement that in today's world, the youth is not employable. The companies who are visiting, most of them are complaining that the youth is not employable. They lack employability skills. You need to develop more. You need more development in your students. So let me start by saying that you all understand that getting admission into a college or a university is just a first step. Is just a first step towards making a career. All right. Just give me a second, students. Just give me a second. All right. So I'm so sorry for the disturbance. So I was saying that getting admission into a college or a university is just the first step towards making a career. And you all would surely learn through the theory in your graduation, in your post-graduation. But the employability skills, these skills come into picture when you have to apply this theory into practice. So employers today, they search for people who are much more than just theory. And people who come with a unique identity, with some sense of creativity, and with some sense that how can they contribute their services towards the overall growth of the organization. So the companies are looking for people with some such skills. Now, this obviously does not mean that qualifications are not relevant to the employers. They are. But the subject and the standard of your qualification may be essential. It may be useful in helping you enter your chosen career. It does mean that In parallel to your studies, you should aim to develop skills that will be of help to you in your future career, as these skills are sought by all kinds of employers. The skills you should be developing are the skills that reflect your own personality. You all have a unique personality. So the skills that you develop, that should reflect your own unique personality, your own unique interest, and your own unique abilities. Because eventually, these will influence your choice of career. So let's go to the next slide. I hope my screen is visible. The slide is visible to all.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am. Just press F5 once.
F5.
Yeah, it will be full screen.
All right. Is it better?
Yes, it is.
All right. So talking about employability skills. So these are the skills. If we break this word, it is employability means the ability of getting employed. So it is a set of achievements and understandings, your personal attributes that makes individual more likely to gain employment and to be successful in their whatever career they have chosen. So you may also see this refer to these skills as transferable skills. Now we call these skills as transferable skills also. Can anyone tell me why these skills are called transferable skills? So can they mute? They have the right to mute and unmute?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
All right. So students, can anyone tell me why employability skills are also called transferable skills? I'll tell you. These skills are called transferable skills because these skills are developed in one area of your life and they can be applied in almost all the areas, in almost all the sectors where you are applying for your career. So that is why we call these skills as employability skills. They're mostly non-technical and they are the key competencies which contribute in the effective, successful, and participation of the employees. And because these skills can be used in any kind of jobs, that is why we call them the generic skills or the transferable skills. So, and it is very important for all of you to to identify the skills that make you unique and that make you employable, because it would differ from person to person. Your friend might be having different skills, you are having different set of skills, so you need to identify what kind of skills you are having. All right, so this is your skill bank, and whatever you do in life that is contributing towards your skill bank. So students, you would agree with me that learning comes in many forms. They come in many sources. You can learn from anybody and you can learn from everybody. And because we're not born knowing how to behave in society, we have to learn so many skills. We have to learn so many behaviors from the environment which is which is around us where we are growing up. So for most of us, this learning starts with the family at home, right? And ultimately, the environment in which we are, that is our family, our school, our college, the work that we do, the society that we live in, they as a whole, they're responsible for shaping us and for influencing our skills. So our skill bank is contributed by our home, our school, our work, our community, the friends with which we go to college, the friends with whom we talk, and everybody that we have in our society. So as I already told you, the employability skills, we call them generic skills, we call them personal skills, we call them transferable skills. Most of them are soft skills. They're not technical skills. And I've already told you why these are called transferable skills, because they're portable. You can carry them from one job to another. Even if after a certain point of time, if you want to switch your career to another sector, these skills will also be rated. These skills will always be rated, and you will always be requiring these basic skills on which we are going to talk today. So what are these major employability skills? Let's see those skills. Yes. So most important employability skills, they are communication. The first is communication. Now, communication here would include both verbal and written, because in when you join a job, you will have to write emails, you will have to write letters, formal letters and notices. For that, you need to have a very strong written skills. The second is the teamwork. The third skill is the self-awareness and management. Fourth talks about learning skills. Fifth is problem solving. Next is technology. Next comes planning and organization, and then initiative and flexibility. Now, let's come to the first skill that talks about effective communication. Now, the ability, what is communication? We all have studied in theory that the ability to give and receive information, both verbally and in writing, that is clear, well structured, targeted to the intended audience, is effective communication. Now, if I am trying to explain something to you, and if I am explaining in a language which is not understandable by you, will that be an effective communication? Obviously not. So my body language, my eye contact, my tone of voice, the words which I'm using, all this would contribute towards effective communication. तो ये एक बहुत important employability skill है which every individual should have. You all know that why only 5 to 10% are found fit to be employed by top rated companies? Because the first reason which they give is poor communication skills. The second comes poor English language skills. Why English language skills? Because it is a universally accepted language. That is why we need to learn English. There are more opportunities. If you have good command over the language, you have more opportunities open for you. There is better connectivity with the outer world, and the whole lot of opportunities are open for you in India, in the country, and outside the country as well. I hope I'm clear so far. So, effective communication and interpersonal skills, they actually underpin everything. Whether you say in workplace or elsewhere, even in your family. If you have a poor communication in a work environment, what will it lead to? It will obviously lead to misunderstandings. You want to convey something, and whatever you are saying is actually misunderstood. So that will lead to misunderstandings, more time wasted, mistakes, and that can be actually very costly overall to the organization. So you need to have good verbal skills and written skills, obviously, because it involves expressing yourself clearly. You need to, the other person should be able to read and understand what you've written, and should be able to understand what exactly you want to convey to him. So using a language with precision, it should be precise. It should not be too long. Constructing, you can say, a logical argument, note taking, editing, summarizing, writing reports, all these things are examples of written communication. And you all would agree with me that the college is taking extra efforts to make you perfect in this written language, written command over written language. So when we talk about written, there are three major structures. I'll take you through this very quickly. The first is a structure, the second is a style, and the third is the content. So the structure is the way the content is laid out. The style is the way it is actually written, and the content is actually what you are writing about. So you need to be very well aware of all these three elements in your written communication. Okay, so let's come to the next slide, which talks about the next employability skill, which is teamwork. Now, what is a teamwork? Teamwork is working confidently within a group. And why do you think it is important? टीम वर्क क्यों जरूरी है? टीम वर्क इसलिए जरूरी है बिकॉज वी आर लिविंग इन अ सोसाइटी. Wherever we will go, we will have to work within individuals. And if we are not able to gel well with the individuals around us, obviously we will not be able to uh, work properly, or we will not be able to communicate properly. So I'm sure you all would have experienced this during your classes, during your college life, during your school life, that if you're not able to gel well with your teammates, the whole purpose of the team is dissolved. So that is why working confidently within a group. अब आप ये सोचो कि अगर ये टीम वर्क आपके स्कूल लेवल पे, आपके पर्सनल लेवल पे, आपके एजुकेशन लेवल पे इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो ये टीम वर्क कितना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होगा व्हेन यू आर एंटरिंग योर करियर. इट इज मच मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. आपको स्कूल लाइफ में, कॉलेज लाइफ में और इन योर फैमिली ये चीजें सिखाई जा सकती हैं कि आपको ऐसे काम करना है, यू नीड टू डील विद पीपल लाइक दिस, बट नोबडी इज गोइंग टू टीच यू व्हेन यू हैव ऑलरेडी एंटर्ड द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड. वहां पर आपको कुछ सिखाया नहीं जाएगा. देयर यू विल, इफ यू आर नॉट अ गुड टीम प्लेयर, यू विल ओनली लूज गुड अपॉर्चुनिटीज. सो दैट इज व्हाई वर्किंग इन टीम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. You need to work confidently within a group. You should know how to collaborate with different kinds of people. See, when there is a team, it is not necessary that all the team members would agree with the point of views of other team members. हो सकता है कहीं पर contradiction हो, and I don't agree with your point of view, but you need to know how to handle such situations. So that is why working in a teamwork is very important. You should be able to respect the ideas and the point of view of other members of the team, even if you don't agree by it. All right. Collaborating with the team. What does collaborating mean? Collaborating would mean where you need to get involved with each other for getting some work done. That is collaborative. The third is cooperate. Why cooperation is required? See, we cannot live alone anywhere, right? And if we are working in a team, that is just not possible. So when we enter a corporate world, we need to work within people. और ऐसा हो नहीं सकता कि आपको कभी किसी की जरूरत ना पड़े. तो आज अगर सामने वाले को आपकी जरूरत है, and if you are cooperative, if you are helping, obviously when the time arises when you need somebody's help, that person would be there by your side to help you and to support you. That is why cooperation is important. Next is share. We have always heard since our childhood, sharing is caring. And same stands true in our corporate world as well. So we need to share. Sharing is what? The resources, the ideas, or maybe just you can say सिर्फ ये शेयर कर, अपना टाइम ही शेयर करना किसी के साथ. If someone needs a helping hand, if someone needs a friend to listen, who can listen to you, so you should know how to share, especially your time, your resources that you have. And if somebody has approached you for some help, that clearly indicates that you have that resource with you. That is why somebody else has approached you for that. कोई अगर मेरे पास हेल्प के लिए आया है, if people, there are students who are coming approaching me for career guidance. Why they are approaching me? Because they have faith that I have this resource with me and I will be able to help them. I hope you understand this. तो अगर मेरे पास कुछ है तभी सामने वाला मेरे पास आया है, and if I say no to sharing that maybe that quality of mine or maybe that time, the other person would highly be disappointed, and that would overall impact my reputation as well. Right? So if you must understand कि अगर कोई आपके पास कुछ help के लिए आया है, that means you have that quality, and if you have that quality, you will always increase it by sharing. The next is contribution. How is contribution important in teamwork? See, contribution. अब आप ये सोचो कि if I have a team of say 5 people, and if only 3 are contributing towards the work which is for which the team has been formed, what would the rest of 2 will do? Also, how would what kind of impact it would have on the people who are actually contributing. तो जो लोग contribution नहीं कर रहे, they think that they are actually uh, having a leisure time by avoiding work, but in the long run it would always be harmful for their identity, for their reputation, and for their overall growth. See, if you are a team player, a silent team player, nobody would ever like to take you in their team. You would all agree with me. अगर आप कहीं पर भी कंट्रीब्यूशन, आप खुद अगर एक टीम फॉर्म कर रहे हो, तो आप कैसे लोगों को लेना अपनी टीम में प्रेफर करेंगे? आप ऐसे लोगों को प्रेफर करेंगे who are contributing, who are active. Why not the ones who are very silent? Because I don't want silent players. I want a team of effective people. So the same goes true for you as well. You need to contribute in the team where you are actually in. And the last is accomplishing of goals. So teamwork may accomplish goals means my mindset should be, yes, I'm working for this team. This should be my contribution. And students, अगर ये आप पहले की 5 attributes को follow करेंगे, so accomplishing goals would not be a difficult task for you. All right. Let's go to the next slide, which talks about self-management. That is, manage time effectively, prioritizing your task, and able to work to deadlines. Okay. So, what is self-management? The companies which are coming for campus placements, I have seen them that they need graduates who have self-management skills. They are expecting the students to complete the work alone and almost alone. If not totally alone, then almost alone. So without the need for someone to stand over the employees constantly, they don't want anyone कि जिसके सिर पे हमेशा खड़ा रहना पड़े और बोलना पड़े ये करो, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो. They want people who are smart enough to manage their own time, manage their own skills, and manage their own work. So self-management, that is why most of the times we call this self-management as self-control also. That means it is the ability to control in today's world one's emotions, yes, thoughts, behaviors effectively in different situations. अब एक meeting चल रही है, right? Imagine there is a meeting going on in which you have put up certain points and I am continuously contradicting you. And if I am contradicting you, you are feeling very angry. Do you think you're showing your emotions at that point of time with too much of anger would help you in any way? No, obviously not. So that is why it is important to understand what kind of emotions we are going through, how much to showcase of those emotions, and when to showcase. So you can show your anger in that meeting, but maybe in a different, maybe कुछ अलग तरीके से आप उसको show कर सकते हैं. You can use very soft words, and you can tell the other person that I'm not agreeing with what you are saying, and you can show your disagreement by even using some polite words. So that is what is self-management. Employers and this is the reason why actually employers very strongly prefer people who come up with good self-management skills. For self-awareness, you can ask your friends, you can ask your classmates, you can ask your teachers for giving an honest feedback on your performance or on your maybe on your day-to-day activities, on the way you are behaving. So I think that can be a good way to keep a track on your self-awareness. You can gather insights on your personality from the people who are around you. They're the best people who can tell you about yourself, your family. You can think about your daily interactions. You yourself can introspect the way you have handled situations earlier. Were you able to handle them well? If anything went wrong, what was that which went wrong and why did it went wrong? So I think introspection and asking people, interacting with people who are around you, that can be a best way to give you to make you self-aware and to improve on what you want to improve. Let's come to the next slide, which talks about learning skills. Now, why learning skills are important? Learning skills क्या होती हैं? Learning skills क्यों जरूरी हैं? Anyone? Students, I hope you're listening, all of you. Yeah, please go ahead.
To make better life, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else? देखो, all those who are in first and second year, let me tell you, when companies come for placement, they don't expect the candidates to be very polished in their knowledge. The basic thing which they look into is क्या आपके बच्चे सीखने को तैयार हैं? क्या आपके कैंडिडेट्स जो हैं वो हमारी जॉब में कुछ सीखने को तैयार हैं? और सीखना, बोलना बहुत इजी है, सीखना उतना आसान नहीं होता, because there are many times when we need to unlearn what we have actually learned. अगर हम इस माइंडसेट से जाएं कि हम तो इस काम को ऐसे ही करते हैं और ऐसे ही करेंगे, do you think we will be able to adapt ourselves in the new environment? Obviously not. It will lead to so many clashes, right? So to avoid those, before taking an employee, before taking a person as an employee, the companies actually look into this skill, which is called adaptability skills. क्या ये जो भी interview है, the person who has come up, the candidate who has come for the interview, will he be ready to adapt the changes that we have in our organization, or is he very adamant about what he already knows? So that is something which is a very basic skill. That is the ability to change or be changed to fit certain changed circumstances. Obviously, जब आप कॉलेज से निकल के किसी जॉब में जाएंगे तो आपको सेम एनवायरनमेंट नहीं मिलेगा. सेम एनवायरनमेंट क्यों नहीं मिलेगा? क्योंकि सेम लोग नहीं मिलेंगे. और अगर सेम लोग नहीं मिलेंगे, there will be different people, and every individual is different. They would be acting, they might act very professionally, and some might act very unprofessionally as well. So you should be able to adapt yourself according to the requirement. According to the requirement of what? According to the requirement of the organization that you have joined. So that is your learning skill. You should be able to unlearn what you have learned so far and relearn what the current organization wants you to learn. So these learning skills, these enable the people and their employees to improve their knowledge about their organization, that yes, we have joined this organization wants us to act in this manner, and we will have to learn this way. So employees with good learning skills would obviously tend to adapt to change easily by learning new concepts, by learning new methods. And therefore, these people who have these skills, these learning skills, they are very valuable to every organization. These skills actually ensure a smooth transition. And if you say that you will develop this overnight, no, these learning skills cannot be developed overnight. You can introspect again on your behavior in the past, and you can see, were you able to adapt new changes, or did it take too much of time for you to adapt to a new environment? Has it ever happened with all of you? So you can obviously introspect, and you can see that if it is your weakness, how can you work upon it? Because see, students, I am stressing this again and again, that whenever you are going to join the corporate world, it will not be a cakewalk for you. So the student life is the best life, because you get the opportunity to learn so many things. But when you enter the corporate world, they expect you to at least come polished with these basic skills. बिहेवियर आपका जो बन जाएगा कॉर्पोरेट ज्वाइन करने से पहले, दैट विल गो ऑन फॉर एवर. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू टू वर्क ऑन योर बिहेवियरल skills, to work on your employability skills from now on, so that when the time comes to join the corporate and when the time comes to start your career, actually, you are ready to do that. Now, to see, if you're a kind of person who always has a to-do list, हमेशा आपके पास ये पड़ा है कि मुझे अब ये करना है, अब ये करना है, and you don't like it when something arises कि बीच में कुछ आ गया अचानक से, अरे मेरा तो प्लान ये था, अब ये अचानक से ऐसे आ गया, how will I do it? You start getting nervous and you start getting angry. That means you are not naturally adaptable. So if that is the case with you, you need to work on yourself and the ability to cope with change, to respond well to change is very important in a workplace. So introspect yourself, and if you are a kind of that person, so then I would suggest that you please start working on your these skills at the earliest. Let's come to the next skill, which talks about, I've given an example in learning skills here. You must have read this, that I asked my teacher for extra work to help me improve my skills. I want to learn more. And when an interviewer is sitting in front of you, he might give you some questions where he would be learning all these, he would be actually checking all these skills in you. He might give you a situation, if this case, a short case study, if this happens with you, what will be your response? So if you have these skills already imbibed in you, it would be naturally coming up in the answers. लेकिन अगर आपके पास ये स्किल्स नहीं है, तो उस टाइम आपको सोचने में, मैनिपुलेट करने में, इट माइट टेक सम टाइम, एंड द इंटरव्यू विल बी एबल टू कैच very clearly that this person is lying. Okay, let's come to the next, which talks about problem solving. Gathering information systematically to establish facts and principles. So what is problem solving? See, students, we all are solving problems on a daily basis. Academics में, कहीं काम internship के लिए जा रहे हैं वहां पे, in our day-to-day life at home, we are solving problems every day. And some of these problems, they are actually typically faced by students alone. What are these kinds of problems जो सिर्फ students ही face करते हैं? Can you give me an example? You all are students, you all are studying. Can you give me one or two examples of the problems that only you people are facing, the students are facing? Anyone?
Study problems.
Okay. What else?
Like mental as well as psychological problems, we can say.
Right. Right.
And biological and physical factors affecting in college as well as school life.
Very nice. Excellent.
Differences
Very
between
nice.
teacher, how you will communicate towards teachers, and like lack of confidence, daring, etc.
Yeah. Anyone else? और कोई कुछ बताना चाहेगा? Students, please be open. I'm your faculty. I'm taking session for you people. If you don't open up, this session will go waste for me. Please open up. Let me give you an example. We all play mobile games, especially the students. Yes, you all play mobile games. So developing a strategy to reach the next level of a mobile game. Isn't it a problem that you people are facing?
Yes,
Might be some students who are actually addicted to some of the mobile games. They can relate to this. Or maybe the students who are not from Bhopal, who have come from somewhere else, and they have a limited budget. So thinking about how you're going to manage your budget to keep you going for the whole month, that can also be a problem. Yes. So someone was saying something.
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Please tell me, Aditi.
Can I add one more point in it?
Yeah. Please tell me.
Like our exams previously, what was happening, like we are giving exams online. So we are that
Very
used to it. Like we are that used to it कि we used to be like phones and all कि हाँ एग्जाम चल रहा है तो हम फोन बगल में रखे then we are writing our answers pattern. But now after
you will
coming
have offline
from
exams now. Yes.
yes,
ये तो बहुत बड़ी
so
प्रॉब्लम है और
we
बहुत सही आपने मुझे बताया, ये चीज रिमाइंड कराई दैट अब सबके ऑफलाइन एग्जाम्स होंगे एंड आई एम श्योर यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स, राइट? कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा ही सही लेकिन स्ट्रेस तो होगा. सो दैट इज, एंड if you're working to be very confident in your offline exams, isn't it a problem solving? Yes. नोट्स इकट्ठे करने शुरू कर दिए बच्चों से, हमारे पास तो कुछ है नहीं, हमने तो ऑनलाइन में क्लास अटेंड नहीं की एंड वी डोंट हैव नोट्स, प्लीज शेयर योर नोट्स एंड you start reading those notes. So what are you doing? You are preparing yourself for the offline exams. So there was a problem in your mind that we used to have online exams for the past 1 or 2 years. Now we are going to have offline exams. This is the problem for you. What solution have you sought? That you have started preparing yourself. So this is problem solving, a very, very good example. Thank you so much. So likewise, all the jobs will also bring problems to be faced. As I said that it will not be a cakewalk. So it is important to show to a recruiter at the time of interview that you have the right skills to resolve these problems. वो आपको एक केस देगा कि you study this case, आपके पास ये situation है, you tell me what will you, how will you react? So it involves a lot of skills, so many skills, and one of them is your problem solving skills. So you need to actually tell the interviewer that you have these problem solving skills, you are capable enough to resolve these problems, and you need to be able to you are able to evaluate the information which is given in the question or which is given in the case. आप situation को अच्छे से समझ के उसको छोटे छोटे key components में break करते हो, and then you consider the different ways of approaching and resolving them, and then you decide on the most appropriate of these answers, isn't it? तो ये सारी चीजें क्या है, ये analytical हैं, creative हैं. So problem solving, it could be analytical, it could be creative. Which particular skills are needed? It will vary. It will depend on the problem that you're facing or the case study that has been given to you and what will be your role in the organization. So you first need to evaluate the information, then you need to break them down into key components, then you need to consider the various approaches of resolving them and decide the most appropriate way how you will approach that problem and solve it. So analytical critical skills jo bhi hai, it helps in evaluating the problem and making these decisions. So do you have these analytical skills? Are you able to think critically on any situation? So you need to introspect again on this. आपको आपका बिहेवियर सिर्फ आप सबसे अच्छे से जानते हो. इफ आई एम सेइंग समथिंग रॉन्ग, आई एम द बेस्ट पर्सन टू नो दैट यस, मैंने वहां पे ये चीज गलत बोली थी, राइट? सो योर बिहेवियर इज, I mean, you are the best person to analyze your behavior, whether you are critical. आप अच्छे से किसी situation के बारे में सोच पाते हो या नहीं, logically एक methodical approach ले पाते हो कि नहीं उसको solve करने से. So that is again an introspection required, and you need to work. If you don't have these skills, obviously you can always work to improve those skills in you. Now, let me tell you, students, there's an ideal approach. I don't know whether you've heard of it or not. There's an ideal model, होता है problem solving का, which says identify the problem, define the problem, examine the options, act on that plan, and look at the consequences. Identify the problem, define the problem, examine the options, act on a plan, look at these consequences. तो हर केस में ये आइडियल मॉडल हमारा काम करता है, राइट? नेक्स्ट, लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड व्हिच टॉक्स अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजी. टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या मतलब है? टेक्नोलॉजिकल स्किल्स का क्या मतलब होता है? टेक्नोलॉजी इज, एंड व्हाई इज इट इंपॉर्टेंट? टेक्नोलॉजी, आज we are using Earlier, we were having offline classes. We never had online classes. Now, all of us, all the teachers had to learn this technology, how to use Microsoft Teams, how to use Zoom platform, how to use different other platforms, and how to control the students also online. So what is all this? This is all technology. अगर ये यहाँ पर हमें काम आ रही, that means it is our work, right? It is we are using it in our career. So for you people, it is much, much more important because everyday technology is getting changed. So getting yourself adapted to the latest technical know-how is very much important. And when we're talking about technology, let me tell you the basic computer skills are very much required in each and every job which will be offered to you after you complete your graduation. What are these basic things? Excel, Microsoft Excel, that is the basic need of each and every employer. So those who haven't learned it so far, please start learning it. It's very user friendly. You will have so many free modules available, learning modules available online. Start going through them. Time आपको देना है और आपने अगर time दे दिया, then you will be behind no one. You will be ahead of everyone. So you need to adapt yourself with the technology because nowadays there's no organization which is not utilizing these basic technologies. All right. So it's always advisable to enroll yourself in a good online course. That is why we teachers are stressing for enrolling yourself in SWAYAM courses, do some extra courses, do some internships. Why are we focusing? Because we want you to develop, right? Stay updated with the latest technology which is being used. If you know that you have to go into a certain area of career, then you should be able to understand. You should actually explore what all softwares are used, what is the latest technology in that field, and you start learning those slowly. Even if not completely, then also you can start learning. The next is technology planning and organization. The next slide talks about planning and organization. That is ability to plan your activities and carry them through effectively. So a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. लेकिन आपको प्लान करना जरूरी है. कहाँ जाना है, कैसे जाना है, क्यों जाना है, ये सब प्लान करना आपके लिए बहुत जरूरी है. And that is why this planning and organizational skills, they are very much considered as your employability skill. Are you able to properly plan your activities? Are you able to properly plan your day? क्या आप रोज सुबह उठ के अपना डे प्लान करते हो? आज मुझे ये करना है, इतने बजे से ये करना है, एंड देन आई विल whatever पढ़ना है तो कैसे, किस तरीके से पढ़ाई करनी है, खेलना है तो क्या खेलने जाना है. डू यू प्लान योर डे? And if you actually plan your day, students, let me tell you that this is the first step towards learning these planning skills. आप हर चीज को plan करके करते हो और you take the things as they come. You never plan your activities. But planning minded is very important, a very important skill in your career. Okay, so contribute to long-term and short-term strategic planning. Stages in planning, as I told you, where am I now? Abhi main kahan par hu? Where do I want to be? How do I get there? Taking action, and after taking action, where have I reached? So all this comes into planning, and you can apply this to your when you've started preparing for offline classes, offline exams. You must have started taking action on this. अभी मेरे पास मुझे कितना आता है, सिलेबस कहाँ है, सबसे पहले तो सिलेबस ढूंढेंगे, सिलेबस कितना है, क्या क्या है, उसमें क्या क्या चीजें मुझे आती हैं या मैं लास्ट मिनट पे कर लूंगा, किन चीजों को मुझे ज्यादा टाइम देना है तो मुझे वो सीखनी कहाँ से है, डू आई नीड टू गेट द नोट्स फ्रॉम माय फ्रेंड्स, एंड you start then working on it. So all these things would be what? These are the different stages of planning. And why employers want planning and organizations skills in the employees? Because see, having employees who are well organized and able to plan and manage their own time and resources, if I have good team players, if I have people who can very well organize themselves, who can manage their own time, who can manage their own resources, who can plan their work properly, It reduces so much of micromanaging. मुझे जाके एक एक एम्प्लॉय को देखना नहीं पड़ेगा that yes, he is doing his work, सही तरीके से कर रहा है, and it saves a lot of energy and time of the employers. That is why employers always want people who come up with planning and organizational skills. I hope I am clear so far. Yeah. The next is initiative. That is ability to act on an initiative, identifying the opportunities, being proactive in putting forward ideas and solutions. Are you a self-starter? Or are you a lazy person? Or are you opposite of lazy? Are you self-directed? Are you self-motivated? Do you look for things? आप खुद ढूंढते हैं कि मुझे क्या करना है? अगर ऐसा है, then you have this initiative skills in you. और अगर ऐसा नहीं है, then you need to develop this initiative skills in you. So employers or the prospective companies, they always value initiative as a key employability skill, which everybody they think should possess. So the ability to do what needs to be done without being prompted by others, or you can say at your own willingness to take a fresh approach, that is called initiative. क्या किसी को धक्का मारना पड़ता है? बेटा उठो पढ़ लो, एग्जाम आ रहा है, मम्मी बार बार पीछे पड़ी है, बेटा उठो पढ़ लो, एग्जाम आ रहा है, या फिर उठो बेटा आज तुम्हारी यहाँ जरूरत है, ये काम कर लो. Are you that kind of person? Or are you a person who yourself realizes कि नहीं, मुझे this is my responsibility and I have to do it, and you get up on your own and you do work on your own? If you are that kind of person, students, let me tell you, then you have this initiative ability within you. So these attributes, these are some of the most important determinants of success, you can say, in any situation. घर में, बाहर, job में, friends में, all these things are very important. So they are important determinants of success in every sphere of life. So you need to be self-motivated about your internal drive कि हाँ मुझे पढ़ना है, तभी मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आएंगे, मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आएंगे, मेरा करियर अच्छा बनेगा. You have to be a self-starter, right? किसी के धक्का मारने से, बच्चे एक चीज आपको समझनी चाहिए कि अगर कोई आपको धक्का मार के कोई काम करा रहा है, वो ज्यादा लंबा नहीं चलेगा. लेकिन इफ यू आर अ सेल्फ स्टार्टर, आप खुद ही अपने आप ये इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करें कि जिस दिन मैं खुद बहुत जोश से उठ के पढ़ाई करती हूँ, तो उस दिन मेरी पढ़ाई बहुत अच्छी होती है. लेकिन जिस दिन कोई पीछे पढ़ के मेरा मन नहीं है, उसके बाद भी पीछे पढ़ ले, एंड आई एम ओपनिंग माई बुक एंड आई एम सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ दैट बुक, इवन इफ आई गो थ्रू 100 pages, I will not understand anything. Does it happen with you? I'm sure it happens, because it happens with each and everyone. तो जिस चीज के लिए मैं पॉजिटिव होके, अपना मोटिवेट होके, and I understand the need of that thing, and then I start doing it, that thing is done more properly than if anyone is always after me to do that thing, and I do it half-heartedly, right? So this clearly tells us that we need to understand what is important for us, and if we understand what is important to us, for us, obviously I'm sure that we will be more self-motivated, and we'll be more we'll be taking more initiative towards it. Let's come to the next slide, which talks about flexibility. Achha, one thing I forgot to tell you in this initiative is that initiative is a mixture of, you can say, a self-motivation plus initiative, right? So it is not only initiative, it is, you can take initiatives only if you're self-motivated. So you need to keep yourself motivated. ये अपने दिमाग को ये चीज रोज देनी है that yes, I can do it and I will do it. I can do it and I will do it. So if you keep on feeding your mind with these thoughts, it is but obvious that one day, very soon, you will start working on that thing. Now, whether you take a negative goal, you take a positive goal, that is all on you. क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, that is all on you. You have to decide. So let's come to the next thing. Next skill talks about flexibility. Flexibility as we have already spoken on adaptability, I think it is more or less same, adapting to successfully to changing situations and environments, ready to make changes, adapt quickly and easily, and cooperative. So what is flexibility? Flexibility मतलब capacity to be bent, usually without breaking. जो झुक जाते हैं वो टूटते नहीं हैं. You must have heard this. तो the same stands true here as well. So you should have the capacity to be bent. You should not be stubborn. You should not be adamant on things. All right. So this flexibility is very important. So the 21st century economy, we have seen rapid changes and in every industry, in every sphere of life, especially after this COVID-19, we have seen so many changes. And those who were not able to adapt, they've gone. Those who were not able to, those who were not flexible enough, those businesses have vanished. Those who were able to adapt, those who were flexible enough to adapt to the situations, they're still surviving. They've managed to survive. They've managed to grow. Same goes with your personality as well. So you can learn how to be this. I mean, this flexibility quality, you can learn this quality through experience also, and you might even have the advantage over others, as you will have used your planning and organizing skills to change your behavior. Now, what does flexibility involves? Flexibility involves adapting successfully to the changing situations, changing environments, then keeping calm in every difficulty. That is also flexibility. Planning ahead, but having alternate options with you. That is also, in case something goes wrong, you should always have a backup plan. That is also flexibility. Thinking quickly to respond to sudden changes in the circumstances. That is also flexibility. Dealing with changing priorities or workloads. That is also flexibility. Taking upon, okay, I've given an assignment. Immediately you are able to do that. That is also flexibility. Taking up new challenges at a very short notice, that also comes under flexibility. So flexibility comes in many forms. You need to be flexible in each and every sphere to be successful. This is the next slide, which shows all kinds of qualities or all kinds of, you can say, skills that a person should have. So these are mixed skills, and you probably, this was an activity planned for you, but I don't think we'll be having time. We have a lot more to cover. So this was an activity planned wherein I wanted all of you to classify these activities into these skills into various heads. Probably you can do a screen, you can take a screenshot and you can work on it later on your own. Now comes SWOT analysis. Ashish sir, before going ahead, can we take a 2 minutes break?
Sure, ma'am. If anybody wants to ask something, they can post their queries in the chat box.
Yeah, please, just 2 minutes so that you can also have time to ponder on what we have discussed so far. And then we'll go ahead with the interviewing skills we have and the resume writing tips, which is very important for all of you.
In the meanwhile, I would like to inform all the participants that for each and every, we have 3 sessions today. For each session, we'll be sharing a link for feedback as well as attendance. You have to fill all the 3 session feedback forms to be eligible to get the certificate. Thank you.
Shall we continue, students?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any queries so far? सब समझ में आ रहा है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है? I am taking it as सब समझ में आ रहा है, okay? So in case there's any doubt later on also, I am there in the college all the time. You can approach me anytime. Let me go ahead. So I was talking about SWOT analysis. So what is SWOT analysis? Anyone? What is the full form of SWOT?
Ma'am,
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities,
Yes,
and threat.
threats.
and threats. Yes, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So with the purpose of making ourselves become, you can say, more competitive in the future job market, first we should find out what the employability skills are which the employer wants in you. And then according to those employability skills, it is always recommended to do a personal SWOT analysis. After getting to know what is the need of the employer, getting a SWOT analysis done for yourself and making an action plan to improve ourselves. So what is the strength? Like I have good teamwork and organizing skills. That is one of my strength. In the group work, I can build on ideas with other team players. That is also my strength. I am good in self-management. That can also be a strength. I can manage my time very well. I can get things done without being pushed. That is also a very good strength. Uh, Normally, what I actually suggest students is you write all these points. You write all these strengths on a piece of paper, and then for every strength, write down a related incident that has happened. अगर आप बोलते हैं you are good in self management, so how are you good in that self management? What were those instances where you realize that यार इस चीज में तो I am good, I can do this very well. Self management, I'm very good in this. I'm very good in team player. I'm a very good team player. So ऐसे क्या instances हुए past में जिसको बेस बना के आप अपनी strengths define करते हो? So this is a very good way to analyze your strengths. Next come weaknesses. I think a very common weakness that most of the students have is that they don't have any employment experience. They don't have any past job experience. But if you have this weakness, do you think you can overcome this weakness before you get into a full-time job? I think yes, you can. How? How you can do it? By doing internships, by learning some part-time jobs. You can start working on this weakness. You don't have employment full-time experience. Nobody is expecting you to come with full-time experience. But does that mean that you should always be very raw till the time you get a full-time job? No. You can polish yourself by joining some good internships. You can polish yourself by joining some online courses. You can polish yourself, or you can actually get an experience of corporate world by getting into a part-time job. I know not all companies are providing, but yes, there are very good internship opportunities which are available. Another weakness that you can say is I am weak in problem solving. So when I face some problems, I get very nervous. I cannot see, I am not good in problem solving because I'm not able to search on all the aspects. I cannot see all the aspects of a problem. मुझे एक problem एक तरफ से समझ में आ रही है, but I cannot see it from all the sides. That means I'm lacking some analytical skills. And that is why, because I'm weak in analytical skills, I am not able to give a good solution to that. Another could be my communication is weak. And if, or I'm an introvert, I'm not able to communicate well with others. I'm not able to gel well with others. I feel shy when I talk to strangers. So these are the weaknesses. And let me tell you, my dear students, that it is only you who can write your true weaknesses. See, I can observe you in class and I can tell you your some of the weaknesses, but the best person to tell you your weakness is you yourself. आप खुद को बहुत अच्छे से जानते हो. That is why we expect that you come up with your true weaknesses and what is the point कि हम अपनी weaknesses क्यों realize करें ताकि हम उन पे काम कर सकें, right? Then comes opportunities. Now, like you can get help from others or from other people through internet. If I'm weak in say communication, how can I improve it? I can get opportunity from online courses. I can get an opportunity, or I can if I have if I don't have if I'm not socially too much engaged with people, what is the opportunity which is lying ahead for me? The opportunity which is lying ahead for me is I have social networking sites where I can get myself associated with so many known people and renowned people as well. So it is all about your current awareness. All right. So how does it help? It helps you to focus on your strengths, minimize your weaknesses, take your greatest possible advantage and opportunities that are available for you. So this is a matrix which is showing strengths, examples. Some examples: strengths, I communicate well. I told you, within a team, completely committed to my studies. That is my strength. What are my weaknesses? Presenting makes me feel very nervous. I focus too much on the details. That is also a weakness. Please remind me that I need to focus on this weakness point while coming to how to write a resume also. Next is opportunities. Opportunities could be I'm doing a presentation as part of an assignment. This will help to build my confidence in public speaking. Applying for a part-time job, that is also an opportunity. What are threats? Stronger candidates applying for a job, that is a threat. मुझे डर है कहीं मुझसे अच्छे बाकी होंगे, उनको ले लिया जाएगा, so that is a threat. How to overcome it? You can overcome this threat only by having good knowledge about that subject and preparing yourself well, because that will bring a lot of confidence in you. The outcome you want from the SWOT analysis: strengths, what strengths you should consider making stronger, weaknesses, what weakness you need to improve on or manage, opportunities, what opportunities are best for you to pursue, and threats, what threats you need to eliminate or minimize. The next talks about what employers look in for you. First is, can you do a job? पहली चीज, क्या आप काम कर सकते हैं? Second, are you ready to learn? क्या आपको जो सिखाया जाएगा आप सीख पाएंगे या सीखने के लिए तैयार हैं mentally first, and then on your skills. Third, are you motivated? Are you motivated enough? Self starter हैं आप, ऐसा तो नहीं बहुत डल टाइप आप चले गए, हाँ दे देंगे तो कर लेंगे, आप बोलेंगे तो कर ही लेंगे, आप बॉस होंगे, आप कहेंगे हमें करना ही पड़ेगा. Are you that kind of person, or are you self-motivated? Yes, I will do it and I can do it. And last, do you fit within the organization? क्या आप as a personality overall, do you fit in the environment that the organization has? See, if an employer is coming to take your interview, he obviously would be knowing his organization very well. Let me tell you, you're losing a lot of your time, because I think this is a very easy graduation that you are currently pursuing, and you have ample time for your overall development. आप पहले से ही prepare होके जाए ना कि मुझे first job में वैसा perform करना है, जैसा कि एक 2-3 साल के एक्सपीरियंस के बाद लोग सीखते हैं. आप अपने आप को वो बेसिक स्किल्स जो सामने वाला एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है उन पे पहले से ही पॉलिश करके जाएं. इससे 2 फायदे होंगे. पहला ये कि आपका सिलेक्शन ज्यादा कंफर्म होगा, एंड सेकंड, आप बहुत ज्यादा अच्छे से परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे if you join that organization. So there are a lot of things that you can actually do during your college life. The first is get what? Get actively involved in all the activities. हमारा कॉलेज तो ऐसा है कि एवरी डे देर आर 1 or 2 एक्टिविटीज एवरी डे. अब आज ही अगर हम इस एक्टिविटी की बात करें, सो वी हैड दिस एक्टिविटी ओपन फॉर ऑल द गर्ल्स ऑफ द कॉलेज, राइट? हाँ, So many had registered also, so many missed the opportunities also. But how many actually made the benefit out of it? So this activity is being done only for the benefit of the students, right? हम लोग ये चीजें सीख चुके हैं, हम लोग इस करियर में हैं, right? We have already built up our career, but it's now your time. So if we are putting so much of efforts, if every teacher, every committee, every cell is putting so much of effort in your overall development, then it is your responsibility to get involved and learn about all the activities and improve yourself. And students, you would agree that not all the colleges are actually working so much on the students. If we are, we want you to grab the opportunities. The second is about development. Developing what? Developing personal skills. कैसे develop करोगे personal skills? By interacting with people. The more and more you interact with people, the more and more things you learn. Reading more books, getting involved in activities, these are the keys to develop your personal skills. The next is build up. Build up what? Build up your work experience through part-time jobs, through internships. We are trying our level best to bring the best of the companies for you for campus placements in your final year, right? And internship opportunities for the students who are in second and first year. How many of you are actually grabbing these opportunities? आप कितने लोग उसको grab कर रहे हो? और अगर नहीं कर रहे हो या ये सोच के कर रहे हो कि अभी तो 1 साल पढ़ा है, अभी तो 2 साल पढ़े हैं, ये टाइम कितनी जल्दी निकल जाएगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. Please ask the students who are already in the final year, on the verge of starting their career. आप उनसे पूछिए, उनको लगता है शायद मतलब काश 1 साल और मिल जाए, कुछ महीने और मिल जाए, हम ये चीज भी कर लें, हम कुछ पार्ट टाइम जॉब कर लें, हम अपने रिज्यूमे में को इम्प्रेसिव बना पाए. बट इफ यू हैव दैट टाइम इन योर हैंड, यूटिलाइज इट टू द फुलेस्ट. Next is build up. Build up what? Okay, build up is done. Build up your work experience. Next is find out. Find out about the careers open to your field. If you're doing a BCom, what sort of opportunities or what sort of field you want to get into? Right? We have so many specializations in BCom. आप taxation में कर रहे हैं. Do you want to build up your career in that field? आप advertising में कर रहे हैं. What kind of opportunities are open for that particular field? Or you want an option to change your career after, you want to change your field after you start your career. So you're doing it from advertising, but you want to get into insurance. You have done BCom insurance, but you want to get into advertising. So are you ready to change that? Do you have that acquired skills in you? So what efforts are you making? Next is research about the careers that interest you. आपके personal interest क्या हैं? और जो आपके पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट हैं, आपने उसके बारे में कितना रिसर्च किया, आपको कितना पता है. सो today we have Google Baba with us, which has all the information about each and every little thing that you want to know. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको जाना पड़ेगा, कहीं पूछना पड़ेगा. You put up a word in Google and you are going to get so many articles on that. आप उन चीजों से जब तक आप पढ़ोगे नहीं, रिसर्च नहीं करोगे, how are you going to know the options that are available? Okay, and how are you going to actually know your interest? अपना इंटरेस्ट पता करने के लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है इंटर्नशिप्स करना. आप suppose for example in your first and second year you have done internship in first year you did internship in marketing, in second year you did internship in HR. Now you are again introspecting, यार मुझे तो यार ना marketing में मजा आ रहा है, मुझे तो ना HR में मजा आ रहा है. How would you come to know? You will come to know by getting the experience, by exploring more and more opportunities. जितना ज्यादा explore करोगे, जितना ज्यादा सीखना चाहोगे, उतना ज्यादा exposure मिलेगा और उतनी ही जल्दी you will be well settled in your career. Right? I hope I'm making myself clear. Yeah. The next is prepare and keep. Prepare and keep what? Your resume up to date. Now we are going to talk about resumes. Before that, I have some to-do tips and activities for you. So I want all of you to take a screenshot as we are falling short of time. I want all of you to take a screenshot of this. And I want all of you, if you're actually serious about your career, I want all of you to do these things. Find out the top 3 careers for you and the skills which are required for them. Start getting involved, develop your personal skills. Next is identify your qualities and achievements that can make you a good employee in future. Which of the areas do you stand out in? Next, identify 3 things that you have done to put in your CV or a resume. After this session, complete your SWOT analysis. Make a list of things that are required for your self-improvement. Where are some areas that you could improve? And get going. Get going means get started. Any queries so far? किसी को कुछ पूछना है? Girls, wake up. How many of you are in your final year? Please raise your hands. Great. Ishika, Jannat, Muskan, Shubha, Mansi, Vedika, Archisa. Very good. So many. Mehak, Ananya, Priya, Sahiba. Excellent. So we have so many students from the final year. I hope all of you are registered on CalixPod. You know what is the best thing about? You know what is the best thing about CalixPod? जो resume हमारा CalixPod ऐप बनाता है, that is a very professional resume that any fresher could have. And this is not available in other colleges. This is available with our college. So we have this plus point with us. तो आप लोगों ने ये चीज ऑब्जर्व की होगी कि आपका जो रेज्यूमे है इट कवर्स ईच एंड एवरी एस्पेक्ट. उसमें कोई भी फील्ड ऐसी नहीं है जो आप डालना चाहते हैं एंड दे डोंट हैव एन ऑप्शन फॉर यू. So for the students who are not in, not in final year, CalixPod was open for, is still open for second year students as well. I want all of you to make your resume there, right? So that you can have the basic format in which resume is required. So talking about resume for freshers. So first thing is, सबसे पहले आप ये देखिए कि resume जो है एक basic resume सब jobs के लिए common होता है. Right, and then you customize it according to the need of the employer. So if a company is coming to the college, or if you want to apply for a job which requires marketing interns or marketing people, and आपके resume में पूरा details ऐसी बनी है, आपने internship HR में की, and you have made it for a position into HR, you will have to customize your resume for the position which is open in marketing field. Now, why it is important? क्योंकि हर field की requirement अलग है, हर field की basic skill requirement अलग है. जो marketing में skills चाहिए, they're not so important for finance field. जो finance में आपकी requirement है basic qualities, your skills. That is not so important in HR. So every field, content writing में जो चीजें चाहिए वो आपको हो सकता है आपको marketing में नहीं चाहिए, या जो content marketing में चाहिए वो content writing में, and so on and so forth. तो ऐसा होता है कि हर job की requirement अलग होती है. तो हर job की जब requirement अलग है तो आप एक अपना basic resume अच्छा सा बना के उस job की requirement के हिसाब से उसको modify करते जाएं. The same resume should not be floated to every job, open job, or every job profile. All right. So first, very important thing is to read the job description. जिस भी job के लिए आप apply कर रहे हैं उसमें job description बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ें. Include your contact information. Now, students, let me tell you, contact information की जब हम बात करते हैं, I have seen so many students who put up their wrong contact number or a wrong email ID by mistake into their resume, and the employers are not able to get in touch with them. So please check your contact information thoroughly, which has been written in your resume. Also, one very important thing here is, जब आप अपनी email ID अपने resume में डालते हैं, please make sure that it looks professional. कुछ बिल्कुल ऐसे वर्ड्स डाल के कई बार बनती हैं ईमेल आईडीज जो we don't even feel like telling it to you, right? You all understand that it should be professional. You're applying for a job, your resume is a professional document. The email ID which you are mentioning in it first should be correct and should be professional, decent enough. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स होता क्या है, हम आपको क्या प्रेफर करते हैं, कैसी ईमेल आईडी बनाना जो आप, जिससे आपका नाम क्लियर समझ में आए. सपोज महक डांगी, सो महक डॉट डांगी, महक अंडरस्कोर डांगी, महक डांगी 123. So I mean your email ID should reflect your name rather than it's me Mehak, or you can take any other funky email ID. It's not, it can be a personal ID, but for professional thing it should look professional. The next is write a powerful summary statement. अब जब समरी स्टेटमेंट की बात आती है, समरी स्टेटमेंट लिखने से पहले you should be able to realize your own strengths, you should be able to realize your strengths, your areas of interest. Only then you will be able to write a powerful summary statement. All right, तो समरी स्टेटमेंट ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने किसी दूसरे के रिज्यूमे से कॉपी किया. इट शुड बी यूनिक बिकॉज यू आर यूनिक. योर समरी स्टेटमेंट शुड आल्सो बी यूनिक. Want to get into an organization which gives me opportunity for growth. This is a statement which I have been reading for the past so many years. तो आपको अपना समरी स्टेटमेंट यूनिक बनाना है, आपको कस्टमाइज करके बनाना है अपनी स्किल्स के अकॉर्डिंग. ऑल राइट, द नेक्स्ट इज दैट choose the skills you want to highlight. Skills, now this will depend upon the first point, which is read the job description. What is that? कि आपने job description पढ़ा, उसमें इस skill की requirement है, मेरे अंदर उस 5 में से 4 skills हैं, I will focus on that in my resume. एक basic skills जिसमें आप सारे चीजों को cover करें वो तो बनाएं, लेकिन फॉर जॉब स्पेसिफिक रिज्यूमे उन स्किल्स को हाईलाइट करें जो स्पेसिफिक जॉब की रिक्वायरमेंट है. The next is highlight education, training and certifications. All those who have seen the format of resume on CalixPod, you all would be knowing that we have different fields for education, training and certifications. Then comes include relevant experience. Now, what kind of experience the other person is expecting you to have? Because of COVID-19, in the past 1 or 2 years, there might be people who have done full-time jobs as well because the classes were online and they were able to manage the work. In case you have that sort of experience with you, please do mention. इसके बाद आपके पास, आप अगर कॉलेज में हैं तो आपके पास इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए. इट इज मैंडेटरी. आपके पास स्कूल लाइफ में वट एवर एक्सपीरियंस, इफ यू हैव वॉलंटियर्ड समवेयर and if you have got some certifications, all these things are the experience that you have got during your student life. अब ये क्यों जरूरी है? ये बताता है कि आप कितनी चीजें सीखना चाहते हैं. how open are you for learning things. आपने अभी तक कुछ किया ही नहीं, हमारे पास कुछ लिखने को ही नहीं है, आपने अपना नाम और एड्रेस और अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव कहीं से कॉपी करके लिख दिया और अपनी क्वालिफिकेशन बता दी. डू यू थिंक इट इज एन आइडियल रिज्यूमे फॉर अ फ्रेशर? ऑब्वियसली नॉट. ऐसे बहुत सारे हमारे पास, अगर कोई भी कैंपस रिक्रूटमेंट के लिए या कोई भी कंपनी आती है रिक्रूटमेंट के लिए, तो पहला स्टेज ही स्क्रीनिंग है. आपका रेज्यूमे इसीलिए बनवाया जाता है कैलिक्सपॉड पर हमारे कॉलेज में, बिकॉज फर्स्ट लेवल स्क्रीनिंग वहीं पर हो जाती है. Like for example, Godrej and Boyce, if when they come for campus placements, they ask for resumes of students and we send them the resumes of all the eligible candidates. वो वहीं पे स्क्रीनिंग कर देते हैं. अगर हमने 250 बच्चों का भेजा है, वो वहीं पे हमें 100 बच्चों का शॉर्टलिस्ट करके भेज देते हैं. We want these students to go through the further rounds of interview. That is why getting a good resume is very important. Making a good resume is very important. Include relevant experiences done. Then is proofread. Proofread is once you have made it, read it again, twice, thrice. Get it read by some experts. Get it read by your teachers. And ask them what extra things it can be added. Then properly include interest and hobbies. अपनी interest और hobbies को बहुत सोच समझ के include करें. मतलब आपकी hobbies हैं, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन क्या वो यहाँ पे job से relevant है कि नहीं? अगर है तो ही डाल लें. Don't put any and every hobby of yours. Keep your resume to 1 page. Because you're a fresher, your resume should be ideally of 1 page. Max to max, it should go to the second page. Otherwise, a 1-page resume is more than enough for a fresher. Highlight your willingness to learn. How can you showcase your willingness to learn? I already told you that the activities that you have participated in till now in your school life, in your college life, that is where you can highlight your willingness, that you've already have been an active participant in so many things, and therefore you will be willing to learn in future as well. Next comes interview skills you need to crack in an interview. First is research the company. एनालाइज द जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन, किसी भी इंटरव्यू में जाने से पहले कंपनी के बारे में उसकी वेबसाइट अच्छे से पढ़ के जाएं, उसकी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन को जो आपको शेयर किया गया है उसको अच्छे से पढ़ के जाएं, ब्रश अप योर बेसिक्स, उस जॉब की रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से आपको जो लगता है जो पूछा जाएगा उसको अच्छे से पढ़ के जाएं. Then prepare for test, because most of the companies are coming up with an aptitude test before they start with the further screening rounds. That is the first step, an aptitude test. So prepare yourself well. Or aptitude is something which you cannot build in a fortnight, right? It needs continuous practice. So when you are in first year, that is the ideal time you should start working on your aptitude. The next is prepare for potential interview questions. Potential interview questions, the very first question which comes up is tell us something about yourself. So आपके हाथ में है कि आप नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या चाहते हैं कि वो आपसे पूछे. तो आपको इस आंसर के लिए इतने अच्छे से प्रिपेयर, इस क्वेश्चन के लिए इतने अच्छे से आंसर प्रिपेयर करके जाना है, क्योंकि आपके आंसर में से ही नेक्स्ट 2-3 क्वेश्चंस निकलेंगे. जो आप फर्स्ट का आंसर देंगे उसी में से और आपके रिज्यूमे में से ही निकलेंगे नेक्स्ट 2-3 क्वेश्चंस. सो एक्चुअली मोल्डिंग एन इंटरव्यू इज इन योर हैंड्स, राइट? आई होप यू आर गेटिंग इट. आप जैसा जैसा आप सामने वाले को बताएंगे, सामने वाला उसी में से क्वेश्चन निकाल के आपसे पूछेगा. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट to get yourself prepared on the basic 2-3 questions which are expected. Be punctual, be attentive. सामने वाला आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, आपको ध्यान से सुनना है कि वो क्या बोलना चाह रहा है, right? Speak clearly. When we try to speak fast, we fumble most of the times. आराम से बोलें, clearly बोलें. जो बोले easy language में बोलें. Don't try to use too much of fancy words in your answers. It should be simple, it should be clear, and the other person should be able to understand it. That is most important. Then maintain good body language, sit straight, and maintain a proper eye contact. Body language is very important. I can take another 1-hour lecture on body language. It will take, it's a very big topic. Rehearse explaining your resume. अपने resume को explain करने के लिए घर पे practice करें. Stand in front of mirror, explain your things, explain whatever you have written, explain the answers to the questions which you are expecting the other person to ask you. Then know what and when to speak. कब बोलना है, कैसे बोलना है, इसके भी रिहर्सल की जाती है. Do not waste time. सामने वाले जो इंटरव्यूअर है उसका टाइम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो do not drag your answers too much. Mention your strengths. Yeah, you must have written it. Writing about your weaknesses, I wanted to tell you one point, that whenever you are mentioning your weaknesses in your resume, it should actually be focusing on some of your strengths. So that should be a weakness. Weakness ऐसी नहीं मुझसे तो मेहनत ही नहीं होती. That is a weakness. You know that is your weakness, but that is not to be mentioned during your resume, and that is not to be mentioned in your interview as well. It could be a weakness, could be that maybe I get involved into work so much that I forget about my physical well-being. मैं काम में इतना ज़्यादा involved हो जाती हूँ कि मैं बाकी चीज़ों के बारे में भूल जाती हूँ. Right? The next could be ask the right questions. If you get an opportunity, every good employer will give you an opportunity in the last to ask questions. Ask right questions. ऐसा नहीं, salary कितनी देंगे sir? Salary कब बढ़ेगी sir? So this shows that you are only interested in salary. You're not interested in anything else. Although you are interested, but you don't have to show it to the interviewer, right? तो आपको कैसे questions? Sir, may I please know my growth path in your company, in your organization, or what kind of facilities does your organization provide to a female employee? So this can be a very good questions, right? Show gratitude is the last point. Show gratitude. You should be thankful not only to the employer, but to everyone who has brought you in a condition where you are able to give an interview, and you have the people which have made you more employable. So you should be able to show gratitude to everyone, because that becomes a nature of a person. If you show gratitude, that will be in your habit. And वो आपको जबरदस्ती लाना नहीं पड़ेगा अगर आप किसी इंटरव्यू को फेस कर रहे हैं, right? So with this, I end up. Thank you so much. I've mentioned my personal as well as my college email ID, placement.cell@bsssbopal.edu.in. In case you have any queries, students, please feel free to approach me. Final students are already in touch with me. To all others also, whosoever they have any problem anywhere, anytime, you are always, please feel free to approach me. Thank you so much. In case you have any query, please feel free to ask. Ashish sir, I am done with the session. हाँ बच्चे.
Ma'am, can you please tell how can we make a resume? In which app?
In which app? You are in which year, beta?
Ma'am, I'm a first year.
You are in first year. So within a
From
month, you will be getting a link. Within a month, all the first year students will be getting a link for making a resume. This is called CalexPod. You don't have to do anything right now because you need to register through the link that we will be circulating to you. Right? So within a month, you will be getting a link from our side. You will have to register on that link. They have this resume format has all the required fields which an ideal resume should have. So don't worry about that.
Ma'am, so it will be provided for masters people also.
For
Since I'm
everyone.
doing
For you are, if you are in masters, I will share the link with you very soon. I mean, all the master students, yes, for masters as well, we'll be circulating the link within a month.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other query, students? कुछ समझ में आया आप लोगों को? I hope. Yes, Shweta. Shweta wants to ask.
Ma'am, Gitika this side.
Yes, Gitika.
I just wanted to know that, like, currently I'm in my second year. So, do we have any opportunities related to training or internships?
Why not? Why not? Are you registered on CalexPod, Gitika?
Yes, ma'am.
So you'll be getting, I have got somewhere around 4 to 5 opportunities of internships, which I'll be circulating very soon after your training ends tomorrow. We have a session. So after tomorrow, we'll be circulating 4-5 internship opportunities and you people can enroll yourself for that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other query related to the presentation which I had given today? I understand that this was a very wide topic and it, 1.5 hours was too less for this, but still we had to cover and I tried my best to cover all the topics. Ashish sir, I think the students don't have any query.
Okay. I just want to remind all the participants that in the chat box, I have shared the link for feedback and attendance for this session 1. You have to fill this feedback form for every session. This is first session, so you have to fill the feedback and attendance for this first session. Positively, those who are in this group, you have to fill this form and please don't exit the group. We will have a 5 minutes break so that we can prepare and start our next session in due time. So please don't exit. You can take a break, but don't exit the group. Before going, please do fill the feedback form for session 1. For taking a wonderful and a very fully loaded session, I would like to thank Shubhra ma'am for sparing her time and educating our girl students, especially about the importance of various employability skills that employers look into a prospective candidate, and also how we can improve our personality and other aspects of the things which employers do look beyond our academics. And also wonderfully highlighting the importance of a good resume, how to prepare and what points we should keep in mind while preparing a good resume. I hope many clues have been noted down by our students. So I once again request you to please fill the form and be in this group for the next session. Thank you, Shubhra ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, students. I'm always here in the placement cell to help you and to guide you. So feel free to approach me. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ashish, sir, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I hope you can see the presentation along with my screen.
Yes, sir.
Great. So first thing first, it would be a two-way communication. So throughout the explanation point of view, कहीं पर भी आपको कोई सवाल पूछना हो, please feel free to ask me questions. There is no like methodology in which we'll be going. I'll be explaining content. If you have any queries, kuch puchna hai, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. And if you feel like you're hesitant in unmuting yourself, you can use the chat column also. So I'll be accessing both. I'll try to access chat along with the audio. So it is a two-way communication on which we'll be working on. And I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. And let's see how it goes through. So today we'll be discussing regarding personal capacity building. As this is the major aspect which we will be discussing. First, let me discuss regarding what capacity word is all about. So when we think of capacity, ये word को सुन के आपको दिमाग में क्या दिमाग में आता है? Capacity means what? If in simple language I go with shamta, it's in Hindi it is termed as shamta, which actually means the ability of an individual or to what extent an individual can perform in a given scenario or a situation, that is capacity. Now, there are a lot of things which are included in this vocabulary. So we'll be going through them one by one. Number one is effective communication. So if you want to enhance your capacity, you need to work on your communication skills. Number two is listening skills. You need to be very good with listening skills. Number three is interpersonal skills. Now we'll be discussing what interpersonal skills are in brief when we'll be going through that topic. Number four is goal settings, and number five is time management. So today, within a quick span of 1.5 hours, we'll be going with all these five aspects, which actually enhances your capacity. And as and when you have any queries, you are free to ask me the questions. Now, let's first discuss what's effective communication is. So there are a lot of methodical way of explaining what effective communication is, but in brief, if I give you a simple definition, if A person has something to share with B person, and this A person is able to communicate exactly the same image what he had or she had in her mind or his mind to this B person, I would consider that as effective communication if that transition is perfectly being made. Example, uh, if I think of an animal in my mind and if I try to explain you the animal, that I'm thinking of an animal which is black in color, which is big and has four legs. It's a herbivorous animal. Which animal can you imagine? It's big, it's herbivorous, it has four legs, and it's black in color. Which animal can you think of?
Zebra, buffalo.
Zebra, good. Buffalo, good. Anyone else? Any other animal which you can think of? Big, black, four
Goat,
legs. Pardon?
goat,
Goat. Okay. None of you thought of elephant? Big, black, four legs, herbivorous. Elephant, big. Goat, small. Okay. See, this is where I won't consider this as effective communication because I was not able to create the same image of animal which I was thinking in my mind in your mind. Until and unless I give you clarity that it has a trunk, it has tusk, then you might think of elephant in your mind. And this is where effective communication actually means. Now let's go through there are a lot of things which actually gets involved when you're talking about effective communication. Now, when you talk about effective communication, it's a skill of various activities coming together. Now, number one is listening skills. Now, when you talk about effective communication, first prospective is listening skills. Now, what happened was when I was trying to explain you the animal, मैंने आपको उसका डेफिनेशन बताया और डिस्क्रिप्शन बताने की कोशिश करी जो आपने सुना, और उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपने मुझे एक जानवर पॉपअप किया. Now, if this listening skill is good, you will be able to focus on keywords: big, black, four legs, herbivorous. These were the basic things which I talked about. Now, big was an effective, like essential clue. That is where listening skills is important. What you listen, how you listen actually helps you to communicate in an effective way. Second is non-verbal communication. Now, you might have noticed that when I was talking about big black thing, I didn't use my hands too much. अगर मैं अपना हाथ ज़्यादा उपयोग करता तो ज़्यादा easily शायद आपको समझ में आता कि that what big black means. So because I didn't use my body language, non-verbal communication too much, that's the reason you were unable to identify it that clearly. Being clear means what? Being clear regarding what message do you want to transmit. So if you want to understand that when do you communicate effectively, that is where you are clear regarding what exactly do you want to communicate. Fourth point is being concise. Concise means being precise, being like choose your words wisely. If you want to say a particular aspect, use that word. If you don't want to say, don't even use it, because later on you will be stuck in a situation where you will try to convince other person, I didn't mean to say that, but you used the wrong vocabulary at that point of time. आप में से सब ने इस चीज को कभी ना कभी फेस किया होगा, that some or the other friend felt offended in a particular situation because you said something, you didn't mean it, but the way you said it or the choice of word was wrong at that particular situation. He took it as the word, but your tone was not that. Because of this, because it was not concise, things mismatched. That is where effective communication didn't take place. Being confident in what you say and what you deliver. Now, effective communication is all about being confident. If you fumble, now communication has nothing to do with language. Communication is exactly what you want to portray. Is if the person is able to interpret it, that's effective communication. Many people correlate effective communication with having good vocabulary in your language. That has nothing to do with it. So don't like consider effective communication to that you know very good English. No, these two things are totally different. Effective communication has nothing to do with knowing very good English. Effective communication can be done with basic English also. If you are able to express yourself in a right way without giving any wrong interpretation to the person, when it comes to choice of vocabulary, you are done. Very simple. Being personable. Now, what do you mean by personable? Personable means you need to understand what the other person's mindset is all about. Understanding a mindset is very important when you talk about effective communication. Now, effective communication has multiple dimensions, and this is one dimension which people tend to underlook. If you're talking to a person who is like a maid or a guard at your home, if you are able to go with this feeling that being personable means understanding the person's requirement or the mental level in which the person is, and then communicating with them, that actually makes that communication more effective. Being patient, this is the last, but actually it is one of the integral pillars of the effective communication. It is always seen, ये देखा गया है कि लोग जब communicate करते हैं तो at that point of time people are impatient and they jump onto conclusions. They don't allow other person to communicate something completely and they jump into conclusions. This is also seen frequently when you're talking about interviews, when you're talking about your interaction with friends. He or she is sharing regarding what he or she is going through, and then you're like, no, you are wrong. Let the person complete. Let the person share his or her emotional part completely to you, and then try to bring any conclusion to him or her. Don't just jump onto conclusion. That doesn't make effective communication there. So it's all about having all 7 criterias together in you that makes effective communication. Now, it is actually very important for us to understand that in today's time, effective communication is one of the major playing role in any kind of placements, in life, in anything. You talk about your personal life, effective communication is important to hold on to relationships what you have. You talk on to professional life, effective communication is actually important to holding on to what you want to say or what you want to deliver professionally. The way you interact with your colleagues, with the way you interact with your seniors, that is all built up based on effective communication. And this is where actually I feel that in today's time people tend to lag. There is a different definition to successful communication today's time. People tend to misinterpret effective communication with persona. Like if a person is very presentable and he's coming with very flashy vocabulary, he's an effective communicator. No, effective communicator is all about creating an image, but in a way where you're able to understand everything in a very simple way. आप अगर आसानी से कोई चीज़ समझ पाते हैं तो वहाँ इफ़ेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन होगा। इफ़ेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन वहाँ नहीं होगा जहाँ पर कोई अगर बहुत भारी अंग्रेज़ी बोलकर चला गया, बहुत भारी हिंदी बोलकर चला गया आपके सामने और आपके बगल वाला बोलता है, "क्या बोला?" एंड आप मन में सोचते हो, "हाँ, क्या बोला?" Means your intensity of "क्या बोला" is like you didn't understand what exactly the person said. But just because others are praising, you are like, wow, he said yes. He said very nice. This is where effective communication lacks today. So the interpretation is totally different. It's about presenting your ideas in a way where other person can understand. If that is done, effective communication is being made. And for that, these 7 steps are actually important. Any questions from this side regarding effective communication? Anyone has? Do ask if you have. Meanwhile, I'll move on to the next part. Now, why do you need to develop effective communication or strong communication skills? In today's time, it is important to express yourself to impress others. This is what the trend is going on. Why do we go on to Insta? Why do we go on to Facebook? Why do we go on to all these social medias? We like to express ourselves because there is a huge gap between what we require and what we have. We require attention of people, and what we have is a small circle in which we are struggling to get attention. And that's the reason we go out on all these social media platforms to get attention of channels. Now, it's important to understand that communication is an integral part because we are a social animal. That's an integral part. If you can communicate, you can hold on to a lot of things in life. Communication gives us a very important part when it comes to relationship. It adds on to the value of your life because you feel when you're able to communicate well, you feel confident, you feel better. If you are into like a profile where you will convince your customers, that is where communication actually again plays an important role, and majorly it is for your success in any stream. You may be from any background, it hardly matters. What matters is that how well are you able to communicate what is in your mind, what is in your brain. Professionally, you might not be interacting with customers, client, but you need to communicate well. It hardly matters whether you are extrovert or an introvert. What matters is that whether you are able to communicate with correct words or not. Even if you're introvert, you speak less, that's perfectly fine. There's no downfall in that. Being introvert is also a blessing, but being introvert, if you are unable to choose right words to express yourself, that's something where you can work on. I wouldn't say it's a negative thing, it's an area where you can work. And then communication actually gives you loyalty. Now, how does loyalty come into the space? When you communicate, you feel wanted, others also feel the same, and that is where you bring relationships together. And this is how your best friend found you, and as well as you found your best friend. That is over time. You communicated for at least 6 months, 7 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and that is how you develop a feeling that this person, this individual person, is a person to whom I can communicate whatever I want without any filter. And that is how communication developed. And that is how you came to a conclusion that ye sacha dost hai, he or she is my best friend. because you were able to communicate. And for people with whom you're not able to communicate, they never get into that parameter because वहाँ पे loyalty develop ही नहीं हो पाई. Let's come back to the second point, which was listening skill. Now, for many, listening skill is a very integral part, but again, there are many who are sitting over here, they might feel so. We are blessed with different kinds of learning patterns. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are kinesthetic learners. Now, let me explain you. When it comes to learning pattern, a visual learner will see visually things and learn very quickly. An auditory learner will listen to whatever is being said and will learn or grasp things very quickly. And a kinesthetic learner will be a person who would write or will do it practically and then learn it. So these are three different kinds of learners. Now, many of you might have gone through this, that if you attend a lecture or if you are sitting in a lecture, you're able to grab things very quickly, or it is very easier to revise things. You are able to learn things very easily. And if you are in that category, you are a person who are auditory learner. Now, a study actually portrays that whatever amount of content you listen, you are only able to recall 45 to 35% of it. So many times it has happened with you that if you have shared what you have heard with other people, आपने केवल 45% ही इंटेंट उसका शेयर कर पाए हैं, और जिस कारण से कई बार प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि किसी ने किसी के बारे में क्या बोला, कैसे बोला, सब चीज रिकॉल करके उस इंसान को बताने में कहीं ना कहीं 19-20 हो जाती है, जिस कारण से इंटरप्रिटेशन गलत होने के कारण या गलत तरीके से बताने के कारण चीजें सुधरने के बजाय और बिगड़ सकती है. एंड दिस इज समथिंग which everyone would have gone through some or the other time in life. And this is obvious. Listening skills are actually major tool when it comes to communication. Now, when it comes to listening ability, it is, how do you define it? I consider listening to be an ability when whatever a speaker says, you are completely focused on it. One. Two, you are able to understand what is being said. Understand matlab tone ki tarike se, intensity ke tarike se, you are able to understand. After understanding, you are able to comprehend the information that bola kya gaya, acha ye interpret hua, and then you respond thoughtfully. So all four factors are important. One, listen completely. Two, understand the message. Three, comprehend the information. And four, respond thoughtfully. After you do this, that is where listening is effective. Now, कितने टाइप्स की लिसनिंग होती है और हम किन किन तरीके से लिसनिंग करते हैं? So majorly listening can be divided into 5 different patterns. First is informational listening. Now, what do you mean by informational listening? And informational listening is a listening wherein you are listening as if you are listening right now for gathering information. So you're focused. I consider that you're focused. You're listening with a prospect that you want to learn. So that's an informational listening. Now, when I talk about discriminative listening is a different kind of listening wherein you are having discrepancy and you gather data based on that discrepancy. मतलब आपका इंटरेस्ट नहीं है तो आप नहीं सुनोगे, आपका इंटरेस्ट है तो आप सुनोगे. थर्ड इज बायस्ड लिसनिंग. ना ये आपके साथ हुआ होगा कि आप किसी फ्रेंड को काउंसल कर रहे हो and you're counseling him or you're suggesting him that please don't fall into this trap, you should stay away from this person, and that person is listening to you technically but he or she is not ready to listen to you. अच्छा, हिंदी में listen का मतलब होता है, कई बार हम यूज करते हैं बात मानने के लिए, which actually justifies the definition which we have given in English, that you listen it completely, you gather the information, you comprehend and then you respond. That is where हम हिंदी में जब बोलते हैं बात मानना, उसके लिए इंग्लिश में हम वर्ड यूज करते हैं listen. So this person who is listening to you is actually being biased. When you will talk positive about that person, he'll definitely listen to you, but when you'll talk negative about that person, he'll not listen to you. He'll be biased in gathering the information, that what exactly information he wants to gather. ये कई बार person के perception के ऊपर भी होता है. For example, you have a particular perception towards a person that I don't like him or I don't like her. Then that person, whatever he or she would deliver, whatever he or she has to say, you will be biased in your approach. अरे वो अच्छा नहीं कर सकता, अरे he or she is not that kind of person. So even if he or she is giving positive input, you will be biased in your thought process. That is biased listening. Sympathetic listening is a kind of pattern जहाँ पर आप sympathy show करते हो किसी particular person के साथ जब वो आपको कोई चीज सुनाता है. Generally this kind of listening happens when a person is sharing a hard broken incidents. If a person is sharing something like someone passed away, or some crucial critical thing has happened in his or her life, that is where you are sympathetic, that you go with a statement like, I understand, oh that's bad. So that's sympathetic listening. Fifth is critical listening. Now this kind of listening takes place when you are trying to solve a problem, wherein you are specifically focused on certain inputs of information and you are parallelly thinking along with what you are listening. This kind of listening is known as critical listening. Now, when I say critical listening is actually done by many people while evaluating other person. So specifically when it comes to counselors, people who are pursuing psychology as the subject, you will do a lot of critical listening in your career, because you will have to observe, apprehend, as well as look on for clues regarding what the person is saying, whether it is uh, correct or not, or whether the person is faking out. That is where critical listening is actually important. This is something where how to become an active listener or how to be a good listener. Now, there are a lot of things where people tend to focus on. So, maximum times it has always been a scenario where uh, you can come across people who always come with a problem that I don't have long focus span. I'm unable to focus on information for long. Like there might be sessions wherein a faculty is teaching you, your span of attention is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you start looking here and there. You become restless. This is a span where you are losing your focus, you losing your listening ability. Now, this is the area where everyone needs to work on. So when you are talking about this kind of activities, for this, first thing is enhancement of focus span. Now, how to enhance focus? There are multiple examples. Either one, you can start with yoga, you can start with meditation. These are generic things which people do to enhance their attention span. If you're not into all these things and if you feel like I cannot do it, one activity which I follow is waking up early in the morning. And when I say early in the morning is before 7:30, not after that. So after 7:30, it's not early; it's morning. That's it. So if you wake up early in the morning before 7:30, around 6, 5:30, 6:30, at that point of time, I would request you to go upstairs wherever you are living as per your comfort. If you can go upstairs, go upstairs. If you can stand in a balcony or near a window where you can look outside, look outside. Look around you for 20 seconds and observe as much as you can, whatever you can. So when you look around, you observe, and then whatever you have observed, then close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, again have the same image what you have observed in front of you, in your mind in front of you, and then start listening to whatever noise is coming, and start imagining that what kind of vehicle or what kind of bird might it be which is chirping around you, or what is making this sound. And when you imagine, listen from which direction that sound is coming. And if it is a moving sound, you can actually feel it moving from left to right or right to left. This is, if you do this activity even for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, this enhances your concentration power to a great deal. You will be able to focus on small aspects for longer version of time, and this will actually help you accommodate the span wherein you struggle focusing on a particular subject or a particular a topic for a longer version of time, this will enhance that. And this is a slow process. It takes some time to see the results, but it actually works. Now, what other than paying attention? So apart from paying attention, what you can do is that to make anything interactive, try to ask open-ended questions. Now, open-ended question means what? A question with answer of one word or so, either yes, no, or a topic answer is considered as close-ended question. So to make it more interactive and to develop your interest into this, even if it's an interaction with someone, try to ask open-ended questions wherein you ask the person to contribute more into what the information he or she is giving. Request clarification. Like, what do you mean by clarification? Clarification means that if a person has said something and you have understood it well, try to just clarify that whether you have understood it correctly or not. Like by using a phrase like, I guess you mean to say this. So this is where clarification will be there from the person's side. This is like yes and no. So the interaction should be a combination of a yes or no question. Paraphrasing is something wherein again you can use it when you are going for interaction with people. Professionally, people use paraphrasing to build up good rapport so that the other person can understand that you are able to understand him or her correctly, because paraphrasing helps us to rephrase whatever the person has said in different words, but the other person also gets a feedback that okay, you were listening. Ask probing questions. Probing questions can be anywhere like, okay, so what did you did in this scenario? Oh, it might be tough for you. How did you cope up with it? So these are probing questions wherein the person feels that you want to know more about it and you are more involved in it. Be attuned to the speaker's feeling. Attune means in the mindset in which the speaker is. Similar mindset should be yours. Like previously, when ma'am was taking the session, there is one question which is always asked in any interview. That is, anything else do you want to ask? Please use this opportunity to ask a probing question wherein whatever you have known regarding the organization, that helps you to make that person understand that you are interested in that organization or company. So it can be any question. So I won't give you any hint like regarding what kind of questions you need to ask, but you need to ask good questions. Please don't ask the person's experience in the organization because that's something person. You can ask anything else regarding the environment, regarding any number of anything to make that interaction with the interviewer more interactive, and the person can also feel that you are an active listener. You were listening to the inputs what he or she was giving, and that's where active listeners are actually at plus while interacting with them. Now let me talk you through regarding interpersonal skills. Now there are two topics which actually pops up: intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills. Now there is a huge difference between intra and inter. Intra means introspection, like you interact with yourself and come up with answers. That is intrapersonal skills. But over here we're talking about interpersonal skills. So like it's a wing of everything. Interpersonal skills has everything. When you are interact with an individual or a team of people, how you interact, what you interact, your behavioral pattern, the way you spoke, your listening skills, everything comes together in this, and that is one of the factors which contribute to your overall impression. That is the reason this is an integral and a major part of enhancing your personal capacity. Now this includes active listening, which is also a part of effective communication, and it is again a part of interpersonal skills also. Now when you talk about active listening is all about giving attention to an individual or a group of people and making them understand that you are listening. That is where active listening comes. अच्छा, एक्टिव लिसनिंग के बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं जो कि लोग कई बार अवॉइड कर जाते हैं. आपने कई बार ये चीज़ देखी होगी कि अगर आप घर पे पापा मम्मी से बात कर रहे हैं और आप बात करते करते वो कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, and this might be a dialogue you might have got, that they are working and you're trying to talk to them, and then you say that पापा आप सुन नहीं रहे, मम्मी आप सुन नहीं रहे, and then they are कान से सुनती हूँ मैं, कान से सुनता हूँ मैं. This is a common dialogue which comes. This is where you feel the person is not actively involved because attention is not there. The person is involved with something else. and simultaneously he's listening to you. So the feedback which you are getting, your brain is giving you, is this, that the person is not listening to you, and that's the reason you go up with this statement. So next time when a person is giving a presentation on stage, or a person is on stage, please don't talk, because that is where he or she also gives the same vibe, gets the same vibe, that they are not listening. Though the topic or discussion might be very important, but that's a decorum which needs to be maintained, and that is where interpersonal skills actually comes across upfront. You need to interact in a way where you need to be an active listener, so that the person can also be an active listener to you. Second is for interpersonal skills is conflict resolution. The way you handle conflict talks volume about what kind of character do you have. So it's not when you are in your good mood matters, the way of communication, but when you are in your bad matters a lot. Because when you are in your bad, that is where the real you comes out, or the aggressive you comes out. That is where the character actually pops out. That what kind of background you're from, what kind of language do you use, how do you present yourself, everything comes across. That's the reason conflict resolution is a major aspect of interpersonal skills. So it's important for you to work on the span when you get angry. How do you communicate? It's easy to say that अरे मैं गुस्से में था मैंने बोल दिया, but it's difficult to work around that. Once said is said, it will have its damage, it will have its repercussions, and you will have to go through it. You cannot just go through the statement that I was angry, thus said. Sorry. And that is where conflict resolution is actually one of the key factors in any kind of interaction. Now, communication. Now, when we talk about communication, communication is again an integral part of interpersonal skills, because how and with the way you communicate actually matters a lot. And your overall impact to a person actually has a lot to do with the way you communicate. Collaboration. Now, this point is something which is very important, because you tend to adjust with people, you tend to work along with people and team as well as individual. So when you're working individual, that's perfectly fine, but how do you collaborate with others, and how do you like behave while collaborating? That is again an like very important aspect, and that is where interpersonal skill is a holistic impression of you. So you need to work on interpersonal skills greatly. If you are having issues with an individual, start working on it. Professionally, these things matter a lot. Emotional intelligence. If I have to define emotional intelligence in a brief, it is an art to know when to speak what and what to speak when and how. ये एक तरीका है, या ये एक कला है, ये जानने का कि कब क्या बोलना है और क्या कब बोलना है और कैसे बोलना है. सो अगर आप इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट हो तो आपकी भाषा, शैली, तरीका सब आपके कंट्रोल में रहेगा. और अगर आप इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट नहीं हो तो ऐसे कई बार मौके आएंगे जहां पर आप भावनाओं में बह के कुछ कह दोगे और उसका फिर कॉन्सिक्वेंस आपको बाद में झेलना पड़ेगा. एंड दैट इज वेयर इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स अगेन प्लेज एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. लोग इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स को इतना इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देते, बट एक्चुअली आज के टाइम पे इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स आर द मेजर things which a company or a corporate actually sees in an individual. That how does he listen, how well is he with conflict resolution, how well is he in communicating skills, how well is he when it comes to collaboration, how well is he when it comes to emotional intelligence. Now, how to develop these things? Like, it is easy to say that it is important to uh, develop interpersonal skills, but how to develop it? Understand this, that to reach somewhere you need to know where are you going. So you can't get what you want unless you know what you want. आप घर से निकले हैं, घर से निकलने के बाद कहाँ जाना है इसका पता आपको नहीं पता, तो भले आप ऑटो में बैठ जाओ, ओला में बैठ जाओ, कैब में बैठ जाओ, वो ड्राइवर आपको कहीं नहीं ले जा पाएगा, बिकॉज आपको ही नहीं पता. You cannot say जहाँ आपकी मर्जी चले वहाँ ले जाओ. That is not a pattern in which people go. Same ways, you cannot develop with the flow. You need to know how do you want to develop yourself, or what are you actually looking forward for, and that is how you can develop yourself. एक छोटा सा अगर एक्टिविटी मैं आपको बोलूँ करने के लिए कि imagine yourself 5 years down the line. आप अपने आप को कैसे देखते हैं? Imagine yourself, close your eyes and imagine yourself 5 years down the line. 5 years down the line, how do you look yourself? आपने कैसे कपड़े पहने हैं, कैसे दिख रहे हैं आप, आपके बाल कैसे हैं, आपके एक्सेसरीज क्या हैं, आपने हाथ में क्या पहना है, आपके पास क्या है, बैग है नहीं है, what kind of dress you are wearing, what quality of dress you are wearing. Imagine that. And when you open your eyes, feel that aura which you had 5 years down the line, or which you will have 5 years down the line. Jot it down on a piece of paper. एक पेपर पे से नोट कर ले कि this is what I'll be 5 years down the line, and start working on it. That how will you reach there? This is the image which you have in your mind 5 years down the line. Now, establish your goal. Now, this is your goal कि कैसे बनना है, ये मुझे बनना है. अब कैसे बनना है उसका एक रोड मैप तैयार होगा कि कैसे बनना है. मीन्स क्या करना चाहिए कि आपको ये सब चीज़ें मिले, क्या करना चाहिए कि आप ऐसे दिखें, क्या करना चाहिए कि आपके पास ये सब चीज़ हो जो आपने अभी इमेजिन करी है. There is a theory which says this, that a person becomes a combination of 5 closest people to him or her. एक थियरी है जो ये कहती है कि एक इंसान वैसा ही बन जाता है जैसे उसके करीबी 5 लोग उसके साथ होते हैं या वो जिस तरीके के होते हैं. So if you want to be something or someone, change your group or like explore better groups. Start being with people who are achievers, who are already in that group. That is the reason use social media promptly or social media properly, wherein you can interact with people who have already achieved success. Get to know them. How did they achieve success? What was their mantra of success? क्या उनने ऐसा किया जिसका उनको सक्सेस मिला और क्या नहीं करने पे like उनके फेलियर्स क्या थे ताकि वो चीजें आप अवॉइड करो and you be them. That's the reason you need to observe successful interactions very closely. Start talking to people who can motivate you, who can give you insights regarding what are the methodologies by which you can achieve your goals, rather than talking to those people who would diminish your idea or demotivate you. That's a mantra which you should follow. Identify ways to practice. See, I'll share my interaction. That is when I was very clear regarding what I want to be. I was around 18 years old when I was very clear that what I want to be. So right from 18 years, I was very clear that I want to be a trainer, a soft skill trainer. And since then, whatever I did was to groom myself, to develop myself as a trainer. Even when I was pursuing my graduation and post-graduation, I used to go informals in my college just to make sure that I have a habit of what I'm wearing. And that has actually helped me a lot, because while I was in my MBA during placement season, companies used to come and people never used to have a habit of wearing a tie or a blazer along in summers, and I used to perfectly carry them. They were not in a habit of wearing formal shoes, and I used to carry it very nicely because I had a habit. I made sure that I learn what I want to be, and I practiced it in and out, and that actually helped me a lot in my career. These were the small steps which I took earlier, and actually it helped me throughout my career. Solicit feedback. When a person gives you a feedback, even in a negative way, please listen to the hidden feedback. There might be people who will pop up and say that, Arey, whatever you want to be, you will never be able to become. So leave it. That's a very unrealistic dream which you are having. Now listen again. If you're an optimistic person, you will listen to the same feedback and conclude something else. So I always used to get certain feedbacks like this. Like during my graduation, post-graduation, people used to tell us that there's nothing in being a soft skill trainer. There's nothing in being a corporate trainer. There's nothing in being a life coach. You're going in the wrong direction. I used to listen to them and I think that they're not seeing my efforts. So I need to put more efforts. They're not knowing who I am. So I need to make them understand who I am. And I started putting more efforts. I started giving more inputs. I started putting more efforts to be what I want to be. And that is where these negative feedbacks worked as a fuel to me. I never heard any negative feedbacks in my life. I always considered every feedback based on their experience, based on what they see. So if your father or mother says that you cannot be this, they are not saying that you cannot be this. They are saying that the amount of effort you're putting in is less. Try to understand what they want to say. Try to go between the lines and read that what exactly that interpretation means. Don't just go and hold on to words. So solicit feedbacks. That actually is important to achieve any kind of goal, specifically when you talk about grooming your interpersonal skills. Reflect and modify. This is again important because you understood what you want to achieve, but you're not doing it. You're procrastinating it. That's something which is a vague thing. आप क्या बनना चाहते हो जानते हो, मगर आप बनने के लिए वो एफर्ट ही नहीं डालना चाहते, तो मतलब नहीं है. मेरे पास कई बार बच्चे आते हैं ये बोलते हुए, सर हम लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन में बिलीव करते हैं. एंड आई एम ऑलवेज लाइक, ओके, लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन में बिलीव करते हैं, बट व्हाट डज एक्चुअली लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन मीन्स? जब मैं पूछता हूं उनसे तो वो बोलते हैं कि सर लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन मीन्स जिस चीज को चाहते हो उसको दिन भर सोचते रहो और पाने की कामना करो. लाइक you should have a desire for getting that thing, and ultimately you will get that thing. And I'm like, no, you will not get it, because इसमें सबसे एक important point missing है. Before Shahrukh Khan gave this dialogue in Om Shanti Om, saying that किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो सारी कायनात उसको तुमसे मिलाने की साजिश में जुट जाती है. There was a philosopher known as Paul Coelho who gave an English version to it, which said as follows: that if you want something, then the whole universe conspires, and that is, want has to be passionately. So if you want something passionately, the whole universe conspires for it to be with you. शाहरुख खान ने ये डायलॉग वहां से उठा के अपनी मूवी में डाला, and then it became very famous. So there is one word which I would love to focus on, it is that shiddat, passion. And there is an important aspect to understand, that if you are passionate towards something, you will not leave that thing until you achieve it. You will not lose it. That is what passion is required. You can get anything in life if you are passionate towards it. आपके aims जो भी हैं उसके लिए आप passionate हो जाओ. That is what is required. रास्ते अपने आप खुलेंगे. And trust me, I am a real example that if you're passionate towards something, there, even in the areas where there are no ways by which you can like explain yourself to be a trainer, road automatically opens. There are doorways which are open automatically, and you are able to prove yourself at that point of time. You just need to be ready for that, and that is the reason you need to reflect and modify. Work as much as you can on yourself when you have opportunity. Goal setting is something which people often misinterpret. They feel like, अरे मैंने सोच लिया कि क्या बनना है, that is it. That is where goal setting is. A simple question like, where do you see yourself after 5 years? So I see myself at a managerial position in a reputed company. That's goal setting. I'm sorry, that's not goal setting. Or else when in a campus drive, anyone asks you that what is your goal in life, so you say that getting a good placement is my goal. I'm sorry to say that's not a goal. For people for whom the goal is to get a good placement, please change your goals in life. Getting a good placement is not a goal. Sustaining a job might be a goal. Standing on to the pressure which a corporate gives you, that can be a goal. Getting a placement is not a big deal. You will be placed because you are having that environment, you are having that exposure. Everyone around you is putting effort, you will be placed. That's not a big deal. But sustaining to that job is a big deal. Holding on to that job for a year, 2 year, 3 year is a big deal. People quit in 3 months. People quit in 4 months. They're placed, when they're sitting in an interview, they're like, I'm fine with Pan India location. And when they're sent to Hyderabad, they'll be back in 2 months or 3 months saying that वहाँ का खाना नहीं जम रहा था. I am sorry. If you are having a goal, you need to be passionate for it. And that is the reason goal setting is very important. Ask yourself these 4 questions today. Why am I here? Why am I here means the course which you are doing right now today. Why are you here? Why you are doing this? And if you have an answer that I was being told by my uncle, my family member to do this course because it has a lot of scope, that's the reason I'm doing it, you need to reframe your answer. You need to analyze yourself more. You need to correlate that course with yourself. That will you be able to fuel that passion which is required to sustain it for a longer version of time? Where am I? Where am I means where are you standing right now? How much have you worked on yourself? Next question is where do I want to be? That is, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? At what position do you see yourself? And then plan for how do I get there. So I will be stepping onto the first company and be specific. As I said, that goal setting is all about finding the right address. Please name the company and the organization which you want to be. You know that your colleges provide placement and which are the companies which frequently comes. Name them and start believing and start working on those companies. That okay, if I want to get into these companies, these are the things which I need to work on, and start working on it right from now. You need to write your goals in written. That is the reason. If it is in written, you will see it every day. You will remember it. अगर आप शॉपिंग करने जाते हैं तो अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं सबसे सस्ता बाजार कौन सा है, many of you might come up with a word or phrase which is big bazaar, but technically big bazaar is not sabse sasta bazaar. Big bazaar is sasta bazaar because you have heard it thousands and millions of times when you have gone to big bazaar, because there is an audio clip being played always at your back saying इससे सस्ता और कहाँ, आइए बिग बाजार, शॉप करिए हमारे यहाँ पे इस बोनांजा में और पाइए सबसे बड़ा डिस्काउंट, इससे सस्ता और कहाँ. Then you are being hammered again and again and you're shopping, you're doing your own stuff, but your ears are listening subconsciously. That feeds into your mind and that creates an impression regarding that. So it's important to write whatever you want to be. Write your goals, keep it on your almirah so that you can see it every day and then you can work on it. A goal should be challenging. Challenging means it should not be an easy peasy task that okay, even if you not put effort it would be achievable. It should be challenging. Like for example, if you feel that you can easily get a package of 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees, 4 lakh rupees, keep a goal like I want 5 lakh, 6 lakh, like slightly over your margin so that you put efforts for that. It should be specific. That is the reason I told you that mark your company, that I want to get placed in this company. And keep a hierarchy order that this is the hierarchy order. My priority is this company, second priority is this company, third priority is this company. And that's how you can plan. Make it measurable. Please don't keep goals like I want a package of 20, 25 lakhs, wherein you won't ever get an opportunity to get to that package and you're not even working on that way on yourself. 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, you want to aim to be like that? Perfectly fine. That's understandable. But the inputs need to be there accordingly. That is where goal setting needs to be there. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize means what? Let's understand that. So when I talk about prioritize, it's important to understand this, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if you put more efforts into grooming yourself, developing yourself, their opposite reaction might be your friend circle will start complaining. Arey, tu time nahi de raha hai, tu time nahi de rahi hai. And then what happens? You start giving time to them because you feel like I'm losing my life. I'm losing the people who are very important to me. If they're important, they will stay. They'll understand that your priorities are your studies and they won't crib and complain about it. Please understand this very clearly. Okay, let's go with a simple activity which I would love to make everyone go through. Now, for example, you get a chance to write something on a tombstone. Tombstone means कब्र के ऊपर एक सिल्ली होती है पत्थर की, उसको टूमस्टोन बोलते हैं. आप किसी भी रिलीजन के हो सकते हो. प्रोबेबली अगर आपके उसमें टूमस्टोन नहीं होता है तो इट्स परफेक्टली फाइन. What line do you want that people should hear about you when you die? So ऐसी कौन सी लाइन आपके बारे में होनी चाहिए which should define your life? क्या होनी चाहिए? Think on that today. Second, for what would you best be remembered? आप किस चीज के लिए जाने जाओगे? आपकी स्माइल अच्छी थी इसलिए जाने जाओगे? आप बहुत अच्छी पढ़ाई करते थे इसलिए जाने जाओगे? या जैसे नॉर्मली लोग बोलते हैं बहुत अच्छा इंसान था, इसके लिए जाने जाओगे? For me, it is like I need to be remembered for my acts. मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि लोग जाने कि मैंने क्या कंट्रीब्यूट किया है सोसाइटी को, लोग जाने कि मैंने क्या किया है सोसाइटी के लिए, and I want them to remember me for that. What is your contribution? What will you be remembered for? Think, and that is how you will be able to keep your goals. If you knew you could not fail ever, what would you do? अगर आप ये जान जाओ कि आप कोई भी काम करोगे फेल नहीं होगे, तो आप क्या करोगे? तो अगर आप जो करोगे, that is like मैं ये करूँगा, वो करूँगा, फलाना करूँगा, ये करूँगा, please do it. It hardly matters whether you fail or not. It's a learning curve. You'll learn. I have learned from my life that it is important to experiment with your life and to know what are the exposures which you have gone through, and that is how you learn. And this is something which actually every one of you should do: explore, learn, and learning is endless. You are actually benefited by like people and faculties who are there to guide you. Like in previous session when I was listening to Shubhra ma'am, I was able to understand that there are beautiful people and guide around you who are there to guide you around. When I was pursuing my graduation, or when like the faculties were there, they were pursuing their graduation or their schooling, there were no such system of getting counseled by people. So they have to like do it the hard way. They had to go through the laborious part of experimenting and doing and learning, failing and doing and then learning. And that's the reason their personality, they are dynamic, their personality, and a lot of them might be your role models. That's because of they have never been afraid of failing. You need not to be afraid of failing. Failing is an opportunity that you can do it again and learn something from it. And that's why it is important to like make a list of things which you want to do, understanding it that you will never fail, and then try it. If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? Please understand that you never need to have any regrets in life. Whatever your life has gone through till now, accept it, learn from it, and move on. Never hold regrets in life. And if your answer is yes, I want to change this, I want to change that, please evaluate yourself once again, because with this negative mindset, you will not be able to make through in corporates, because this cribbing attitude will actually not take you places. So it's important to like work on these skill sets. Every one of you might have heard of bucket list, कि सबका एक bucket list होता है कि मैं जब लाइफ में ये करना चाहता हूँ, ये करना चाहती हूँ, ये करना चाहती हूँ. So I always bifurcate bucket list into different versions. So for me, bucket list is like there has to be a bucket list for physical wants. Physical wants means आप कैसे दिखना चाहते हो, आप कैसे बनना चाहते हो. You want to go to gym and build your body. You want to be in good physical condition. How do you want to look? That is physical wants. Dream regarding physical wants. Dream regarding social wants. Social want means आप सोसाइटी में कैसे जाना चाहते हो. Like do you want like कि आपके पापा मम्मी सड़क पे निकले और लोग बोले अरे ये इनके पापा मम्मी हैं, and they should get respect. How do you want them to be looked on to? That is social want. Business want is where your stature comes when it comes to profiling of yourself. What are your business wants? आप हमेशा जब भी आपसे कोई पूछता है कभी, तो आप हमेशा डिफाइन करते हो कि I want to be a successful person. आप सोचो that what is the definition of successful person in your life? How do you define successful person? Is it like it's a mirage behind which you are running, or it's a run towards the horizon? What is it? What is success for you? मतलब अगर मैं उसको नंबर्स में डिफाइन करूं तो कितना अमाउंट आपको अपने बैंक अकाउंट में चाहिए कि आप सक्सेसफुल कहलाओगे? Think. All these definitions needs to be clear today. Dream list of financial wants. That is again the same thing which I said, that you need to know what is your expectation, or how would you say that I'm successful. In my context, I am successful right from the word I was born in this world, because there were many who were not able to see that also. I was able to define myself successful even when I was in my schooling, because there were many who gave up in that. I was able to define myself when I chose my subject, because there were many who didn't score good and they gave up at that point of time. I was successful. And today also I am successful because there were many in this COVID scenario who gave up on their dreams, and I'm still fighting. I am successful. What is your definition of success? Think. Last aspect on which we would be discussing is time management. This is one aspect which everyone has to go through, but no one cares about it. Everyone feels that this is the least important. हम लोग बहुत बात कर लें scheduling की, calendars की, but this doesn't work out. It's important for you to understand that time management is a scalability. It's a scalable thing. If you are able to manage your time, there will be a lot of benefits in your life. And everyone has 24 hours. How do you manage your 24 hours? That's again important. You will be able to accomplish goals successfully if you are able to manage your time. That's again said. It is easier to say but difficult to implement. I agree, but I'll share the secrets of time management also. It will be easier to set priorities for you when you know that you have to manage your time well. You'll be able to eliminate bad habits such as procrastination. This habit that आज नहीं कल करेंगे, कल नहीं, अरे यार परसों करते हैं. These habit you will be able to overcome, and that will be only because of time management. It reduces stress and keeps you motivated because you're able to complete task on time. Even if you don't like it, it increases the motivation towards that subject, that topic which you are dedicated yourself into. And that is how time management can work out. See, if I talk you through my time schedule, I'll just give you one example. Like, I'm very passionate towards cricket, so I got an opportunity to play under 16 when I was in my school, and I represented MP during that time. And due to certain personal reasons, I gave up on cricket professionally at a very early age, and I didn't continue my cricket, like passion towards cricket at that point of time. And since then, I have always played cricket whenever I got an opportunity, and till date, I do play. So I have committed myself that once in a week or twice in a week, I'll go and play cricket out of my time schedule. So my time schedule starts at like around 8 o'clock in the morning, and it ends by 9:30 in the night. And there are sessions, continuous sessions which I have to take. So the schedule with which I am running, there is no space wherein I can put cricket into. So with this, what I have done is, because everyone is suffering from the same thing, we play night cricket. So we start our playing at 12 o'clock in the night, and we play till 4 a.m. in the morning. And that's like 2 days in a week we do so. So we compromise on our sleep so that we can work for our passion. So if you're passionate for something, you will compromise.
पेट में और ये तो किडनी के लिए ना नहीं पहन रहा
Okay, I will request Saloni if you can just perfect. Okay, time management has a matrix, which means there are certain things which are urgent and there are certain things which are important. So the first quadrant which you are seeing here over here, these are things which are urgent as well as important. Second quadrant which is there, you are seeing things which are not urgent but important. Third quadrant are the things which are urgent but not important. And fourth quadrant are the things which are not urgent and not important. Think of this, that if I ask you to make a list of things of your daily activities, right from waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth, taking bath, doing everything, like right from working, studying, everything, and ask you to keep in particular quadrants and then calculate the amount of time you're spending. If in this scenario you are out of 24 hours, you're able to like take out around 6 hours in the first column, you're doing great. If in your fourth quadrant there are activities which are more than 4 hours, you need to revise your time management thing. Now, for example, sleeping would come in which quadrant? Will it come in first, second, third, fourth? Which quadrant will it be? Sleeping. Sleeping will come in which quadrant?
So maybe urgent.
सोना जरूरी है, urgent है? Sleeping,
Yes, sir.
maximum times it comes in second quadrant, which is important but not urgent. अर्जेंट कब होता है? जब आपने एक बार की नींद आपने कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके एक दिन और खींच लिया हो और आप ऐसे झोंके खा रहे हो जैसे अभी नहीं सोए तो पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा. Then it is urgent and important. Or else you have severe headache because of the activities which you have done and you need to take rest. That is again urgent and important. So maximum times sleeping is in second quadrant, but on certain special occasions it comes in first quadrant. So like this activity actually can be bifurcated into four different quadrants. And if you're able to bifurcate your activities, you will be able to justify. You are studying and suddenly a call comes of your friend. That will be in which quadrant? First, second, third, fourth. Which quadrant will it be?
Fourth.
दोस्त का फोन. Fourth. I'll say दोस्त का फोन आया तो चलो उसको urgent मान लेते हैं, but it will not be important because he or she might be having certain problems which he or she wants to share. तो वो problem उसके लिए है, तो it is urgent, but it is not important. So it will be in third quadrant. हाँ, अगर आप gossip कर रहे हो same call पे, ना आपको कुछ काम है ना उसको कुछ काम है और आप gossip कर रहे हो किसी चीज को लेकर, तो वो fourth quadrant में आएगा. So ऐसे आप अपना
Excuse me, sir.
that आप अपना टाइम शेड्यूल कहाँ डिवोट कर रहे हो और क्यों डिवोट कर रहे हो.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So why this quadrant? It will not come in second one, like not urgent, because sometimes people thought of कि कुछ भी बात कर रहे हैं, it has no uses on that. Useless talks can be found.
हाँ, तो it will come in then your fourth quadrant. That is not urgent and not important. It will be in fourth quadrant. So talking with friends will come in third or fourth quadrant. It will never be in second quadrant. Second quadrant तब होगा, देखो, I'll explain you this. An activity will be considered urgent when it has time value with it. जब time का सीमा लगी हुई हो, then it will be urgent. An activity where the value is being added, let's say for example your education, is it adding value to your life? Yes. So anything related towards your education becomes important. Agreed? So if you are studying for your examination, is it important and urgent?
Yes, sir.
I guess yes. So it is urgent as well as important. Now, if your faculty has given you a project and you need to deliver on like you have to deliver that project after 10 days, so it will come in second quadrant. It is important because it is related to your education, but the time span is given to you so that you can prepare accordingly. So it is not right now urgent. It will go in second quadrant. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Third quadrant is where things are not important, and fourth quadrant again things are not important. Third quadrant is like urgent but not important. Fourth quadrant is wherein things are not urgent as well as not important. So on occasions when you are studying for long hours and then you feel tired, what do? We tend to open our Instagram and then we go through reels. Is it urgent? Is it important? It is not important because it is not adding any value to you. It is not urgent because it has no time span. आप करते करते घंटों निकाल सकते हो उसमें. There is no time limit associated to that. Getting it? So if you are able to identify the activities and you can like bifurcate in these quadrants, you will be able to justify your timetable much better and you will be able to make your timetable much better. ये आपके कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के लिए भी हेल्प कर सकता है, ये आपके like इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन में हेल्प कर सकता है, ये आपके हर चीज में हेल्प कर सकता है. It's just that how do you take this quadrant, like this matrix, and go with it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
With this, I am done with my part of presentation, and if you have any questions regarding it, please do ask me. I have shared my details for any further information and contact. You can contact me on these portals. Like you can mail me, you can contact me directly, you can connect with me on Instagram, any platform you can connect with me. If you have any questions, this is the right time to ask the questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer you guys.
So,
Yes.
how can we work in like I have a fear of communicating to new peoples.
Agreed.
So how can we talk to a new one like without hesitation, or like how can we work on it?
Okay. Like then the Aditi, if you have hesitation to talk to new people and you have talked to new person like me, you have 90% you have worked on it. Now understand this, that hesitation is something which is psychological. It has nothing to do with what exactly you are. Hesitation derives from various factors. One, when you lack confidence in what you say, आपको थोड़ा लैंग्वेज का इशू होगा तो आपको लगेगा कि मैं बोलूँगा सामने वाला मजाक उड़ाएगा, तो इसलिए आप हेजिटेट कर सकते हो, पहला. दूसरा, आपको लगता है कंटेंट वाइज यू आर नॉट गुड इनफ, तो आपको हेजिटेशन होता है. ये दूसरा फैक्टर होता है. सबसे पहली चीज व्हाट आई वुड से दिस दैट हेजिटेशन को ओवरकम करना है, स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग ऑन स्मॉल टॉपिक्स. एक छोटी सी एक्टिविटी देता हूँ आपको मैं करने के लिए. सो व्हेन यू आर सिटिंग अलोन एट योर प्लेस, जहाँ पे भी आप रहते हैं, आप आराम से बैठो और अपने आसपास देखो. जो भी पहली चीज दिखे उसको देख के उसके बारे में बोलना शुरू कर दो. पहली चीज मतलब अगर आप बैठे हैं, आपको दिख रहा है घड़ी, तो आप घड़ी के ऊपर बोलना चालू कर दो इंग्लिश में. 1 मिनट तक 60 सेकंड बोलना है बस. 60 सेकंड्स बोलते बोलते आप उसी घड़ी को देखोगे और बोलते रहोगे 60 सेकंड. 60 सेकंड बाद आप कुछ और देखो, जो अगली चीज दिखे, जैसे कैप दिखा, कैप के ऊपर बोलना चालू करो 1 मिनट तक. अगेन ये एक्टिविटी केवल 5 बार करनी है. सो 5 आइटम दिन में पकड़ो, उनके बारे में बोलो 1 मिनट. आपका हेजिटेशन काफी हद तक दूर हो जाएगा, बिकॉज कंटेंट वाइज यू विल बी मोर कॉन्फिडेंट एज वेल एज द क्वालिटी ऑफ योर कन्वर्सेशन स्टाइल विल इंक्रीज.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, dear. Yes. Any more questions anyone has? You can use the chat also to share the questions if you have. No?
Excuse me, sir. What?
Yes. Yes.
Like we are following the principles of communication. Like we have been various tools we are using for communicating people. How can make we people to understand the thing easier, and how can we work on that case?
Okay. So what are the various tools you're using? If you can just specify those tools, I can help you better. Aditi, what are the tools we are using for communicating? Up mute it.
Yes, sir.
What are the tools you're using right now for communication?
Like we can use like gestures or like expressing our thoughts.
Okay.
Basically.
So first thing, Aditi, you need to analyze that which is your weak area. You might be very good with facial expression, or you might be good with your verbal skills. So एक weakness होती है हर इंसान में. So it might be non-verbal communication, verbal communication, eye contact, कोई भी एक weakness हो सकती है. Try to identify that weak area and then make sure that your strong area covers that up so that it doesn't highlight. ये सबसे पहला चीज होना चाहिए आपको identification में कि which is your weak zone. And then slowly when you will be communicating confidently, automatically your weak area will become one of your strong areas, and that will like improve the complete impression what you have on people. Okay. Shanti is saying, sir, how to be open with everyone. So Shanti, first thing is that if you're an introvert person, अगर आप introvert हैं, आप कम बात करते हैं, तो there is no need to open up with everyone. आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट केवल इतनी होनी चाहिए कि जिनसे आपको काम पड़ता है उनसे आप प्रॉपर्ली बात कर पाओ और साफ तौर पे कम्युनिकेट कर पाओ। दोनों ही प्रकार के जो लोग होते हैं, एक्सट्रोवर्ट और इंट्रोवर्ट, दे हैव देयर प्रॉज एंड कॉन्स। आपको एक्सट्रोवर्ट बनने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट हाँ, आपको बस अपनी बात रखनी आनी चाहिए ताकि कॉन्फिडेंटली आप सामने वाले को अपनी बात रख पाओ। और अगर हाउ का मैं पूछूं तो हाउ का ये आंसर रहेगा कि स्टार्ट फ्रॉम बेसिक्स। जिन लोगों को आप जानते हो उन लोगों से आप इंटरेक्शन जिस लैंग्वेज में आप वीक हैं उस लैंग्वेज में करना शुरू करें, और स्लोली स्लोली आपका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल बढ़ता जाएगा एंड वहां से आप फिर पिकअप कर सकते हैं। Yes. Any other questions anyone has?
Hello, sir. First of all, I
Yes.
want to thank you for the insightful session.
Thank you.
So my question is, how do we keep a blank slate? How do we get a blank slate? I have so many prejudice in my mind that I have not done anything to pursue my goal. But
Okay.
sometimes I think it's too late to do that. How do we
Okay.
get rid of all that prejudice from my mind?
Okay. So for you specifically, I would go with an activity. I tend to do this activity when there is a person who has a lot of self-doubt. So what you can do is that take a piece of paper, or like if you are comfortable with your mobile, open your notes section and start jotting down areas where you have failed, or you have not achieved, you feel that you have not achieved anything. So all those areas where you have prejudice regarding, please jot it down and keep one line like blank between that. So first point and then blank, second point and then blank, third point and then blank, and fourth point and then blank. Like this, even if you have 5 points, 6 points, that okay, I opted for this course, but this course has never helped me in my curriculum. So that's a point. Take one day rest and then again open that note section and then write what did you learn from that. Automatically what will happen is that there will be multiple, like 10 points, 5 points, 3 points, whatever points you wrote, you will be able to identify that okay, even if I have not learned from this module, what I have learned is that I have worked on myself, I've groomed myself, or I have developed these skill sets in me from this module. So that is how you can turn from being a prejudice to be a person who is looking on the brighter side of things. And that this thing will happen slowly. It is not a one night process. It will take some time, but then once you start looking at the brighter side of the things, you will stop being prejudiced in every occasion.
Okay, so thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, I guess we don't have any more questions.
Are there any more frequently asked questions? Anyone in the chat box or perhaps directly want to talk to Mr. Vincent? Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent.
Thank you so much.
Pleasurable since yesterday. And today, again, you have talked about the different forms of power of communication skills, where you have explained to our participants the varieties of skills, the listening skills. You were talking about some integral enhancement features pertaining to intra and interpersonal skills. So we wish that our participants must have been delighted by this particular session of yours. And of course, the time management matrix is something both the batches of the females must have enticed themselves, and at the same time must have understood it and apply it in their practical world. Hope to meet you once again tomorrow in the early hours of the session, sir. Thank you so much for being there. This is Piyush Pradhan. And now I would like each one of you to please have a break of 5 minutes. The link for the feedback form will be shared. You have to remain connected. Please don't leave the session. You all are to click the link and please fetch the feedback link form. Understood? So
Yes,
please
sir.
complete if you have understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is the link already being shared to you? Madam Shubhra, are you there?
Yes, Piyush sir.
Yes. Have you shared the today's link for the feedback form?
No, not yet. Ashish sir, I think will be sharing, or is it the same form? Let me check. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, it will be at least a 5-minute break for these females to just click the link and go for the feedback form. And we will begin the next session with Mr. Pratyush at 3 p.m. All right, madam? Okay, the participants can just wait for some couple of minutes until you receive that particular feedback form link. And then the next session will begin. Thank you so much, each one of you, for patiently listening the resource person. We are going to have Mr. Pratyush Purwar, who will begin or commence his particular program session by 3:05 or by 3:10. All right, thank you.
Uh, Students, the feedback link is same as it was in the morning. Do you want me to share it again?
Ma'am, it is present in the chat box.
Yeah, please, fill the feedback form. Thank you so much. And we'll be starting the third session shortly.
May I have your attention, please? All the participants, I hope, must have already filled up the feedback form. Have you all done so?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, now we have got our another esteemed resource person with us, Mr. Pratyush Purwar, who will be taking up this session now for 1.5 hours. And his theme is titled Digital Literacy and Effective Use of Social Media. Mr. Pratyush, you can now begin with your session, sir.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I hope I'm clearly audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed, sir.
Sure, thank you so
It's
much.
only you in the video. You can just connect to the main screen of your laptop, sir.
Sure. I hope so
The
my
screen
screen
is
is visible,
visible.
everyone.
Yes, the
sir.
screen is visible. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. So firstly, let's start with starting this session. I just want to ask a single question to all the students present here, that in how many social media platforms you are available. Let's say you are using Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, or something else. I'll not be able to read the comments there. So I'll just request you can unmute yourself and just give me an answer that on which social media platforms you are available or you are using on a, let's say, daily basis.
Snapchat.
Yes, please.
The Snapchat.
Snapchat, okay.
Instagram.
Sorry?
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, that's the most common among the teens. Anyone else
Facebook.
apart from Instagram and Snapchat?
Facebook.
Okay, so we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Pinterest, we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, and many social platforms which are readily available for the students. So here the topic is similar regarding your social media platforms. The topic of today would be digital literacy and the effective use of social media. So topics which I'll be covering today, it would be firstly we're discussing about digital literacy, what it is, what are the standards for it, and what it means. Thereafter, we move forward with the use of social media, the different social platforms available, and what sort of things you need to remember while using those social media platforms. Then we move forward with the importance of LinkedIn. That will be the best session for you all because being a student, you need to be on LinkedIn because it's a professional networking tool. So why it is important, some tips and tricks for it, and how you have to just make your profile optimize. So we're discussing it in importance of LinkedIn. And last topic would be the tips and tricks for LinkedIn, how you can just optimize it and make it more searchable and approachable. So starting with the first topic for today, that would be digital literacy. So let's break this word in two terms, that is digital and literacy. So I want to ask everyone here what digital means to you and what literacy means. Anyone? I hope so I'm clear to everyone. Na? If my voice is clearly audible, right? Am I clearly audible?
Yes, sir.
Precisely, you are, sir. Just continue. Yeah.
Okay. So the first word after digital literacy, let's break it into two terms. The first digital and the second literacy. So anyone want to initiate? Just tell me the meaning, what digital means and what literacy means.
So digital can be like we are connecting towards internet or usage of internet such kind. Whereas literacy can be found like individual ability to find, evaluate, or clarity communications through internet platforms.
Okay, the way you interact over digital platforms, right?
Yes,
Your
sir.
answer was quite good. defining the digital and the literacy meaning. So combining both the words together, that is digital and literacy. Digital means mainly the online presence. Okay, the online presence, your web browsers, your blogs, your YouTube, your Instagram, and everything that is present online or digitally. And literacy means how you communicate there, how you read things there, how you just put down your suggestions or your point of view, how you present yourself on different digital platforms. So combining both the things together, that is digital literacy, that is simply an ability to navigate digital world where you need to be present yourself in types of reading, writing, technical skills, and yes,